Who are you? Who? Question of the day. What's that from? By the way, before we get started, if I happen to yelp, it might be because my little buddy here. Where's he at? He's hanging out. Look at him looking so happy. He's a little fired up, a little feisty. I got him playing with a pencil so that he doesn't attack my arm, but he might attack my arm because that's what he does. He'll go, hi. But like if I'm using my mouse, it is literally a cat and mouse game today. Good times, everybody. Good freaking times. Hoot, 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 hoot. Yeah, for real, people. All right, we are live. That's what he does. My hair still looks like a Lego guy. I'm thrilled that I have hair, and I will eternally be thankful. I just like it hasn't really been styling for me lately. I don't know what to do with it. All right, are we good now? Oh, we're so good. Who are you? Who? YouTube is giving you a copyright strike because you hummed a bar of a song from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. From the 60s, 70s, 80s, and today. What do they say now? Do they still say that? From the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and today. Yeah. Or does anyone even listen to the radio anymore? Hello, Kenneth. Hello, David. Hello, John. Hello, Marion. Hello, weird ass lurkers. Thanks for joining today. Broadcasting to you live from the Orion Spiral Arm of the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America. No longer California, Los Angeles, to be specific. Pseudo-specific. My name's BrianEngelman. Today is Friday, August 29th, 2025. And this right here is the TNAM Daily Show, as evidenced by this little logo up in the corner. Broadcasting to you on, ding, the new American media, because the old American media has failed on today's show. We're going to discuss all the things, all of the fallout from that Minnesota nonsense, that violent act, and what does the left do? Let's go attack prayer. Good luck in the next election, minus all of your money laundering and cheating mechanisms. I'm sure you're going to be much higher than the 19% that we all know you're at. Good luck with that. Although, we've seen New York and Los Angeles, or California, New York and California, and maybe Illinois, all starting to surge their police forces because they're sick of crime suddenly. That's the only way the Democrats have a chance, is if they adopt the obvious 80-20 policies that the Trump administration is putting forward. So we'll unpack that and see. We're going to talk a little bit about Israel. We're going to talk about Micah Parsons. I'm broadcasting today on the Unhappy Hour channel. If you're not subscribed, please do me a favor. Go to the Unhappy Hour on YouTube. We have a separate sports-only channel, and we're about to start putting a whole bunch of content onto the Unhappy Hour Sports Show channel. It's right there on YouTube. And then coming up soon is Strictly Football Season 2. Myself, Mike Barra, Jim Mitchell, and maybe Israel Robinson. Maybe we'll get him in to do hot takes, quick takes. We want to. There's a lot of thoughts in an NFL season, and we're not trying to do an 8-hour show. But until Izzy gets deployed, thinking maybe we should have him on. That'd be a lot of fun. We did a preview of the NFL season you can find from a couple of days ago with Izzy and myself. Check that one out. And we're going to discuss all of the other things happening in the world. So we're going to dump the news on the table and discuss what's what. Separate the wheat from the chaff. It's a weird word. It's a weird phrase. Learned a phrase yesterday called, looks like the penny has dropped. Okay. Looks like we're really getting down to separating the wheat from the chaff because it seems like the pennies dropped, I reckon. Bing. So join us, hit like, hit subscribe. Let me pull up the comments on the side and let's begin today's program here on the TNAM Daily Show, division of the Agree to Disagree Show here on the New American Media. And it starts right now.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
All right. Marion asking, by the way, I love your intro music segment. You mean the show intro for the Agree to Disagree Show / the New American Media / the TNAM Daily Show? You love that intro music segment? Thank you. What do you like about it? And also, I've been meaning to revamp it. There's like 40 other faces I want to like flash at you. Like, look at all the people we've talked to over the past 14 years. Because we're really punching above our, what do they call that in boxing? You're punching above your weight, punching above your weight class. That's above my pay grade. I know people have misinterpreted what that means, but that just means that's out of my realm of expertise. Oh, Nimbus. Could you be any sweeter oh my God. Oh, I got to take a picture of Nimbus. Let me take a picture right now. And then I'll see if I can show you. This is just... Oh, no, you got to do the thing you were just doing, Nimbus. Let me show you. There he is. Look at my dude. He's cuddled up on my arm that holds my mouse. Yeah, he's probably just after the mouse. What a sweet guy sometimes. He's been so sweet the past couple of days. And I had to yell at him yesterday for making a mess in the litter box area. Ugh, such a mess sometimes. All right. Well, I'm glad you love the segment. That's awesome. I'm going to try to expand that and show you a whole bunch more interesting people. I've got a veritable who's who of awesome people that we've talked to. I want to expand that. It's just, it takes time. Oh my goodness. Everybody stop. Let's do the round of applause. Deb Rooney is back. Not from San Francisco. And the music is uplifting. That is my brother's composition. Chris Engelman, rest in peace. I actually don't even know the name. I can't recall the name of that song because it's our intro song. I've been using it for, geez, I'd love to go back and find out the first appearance, because as John Odermatt from Lions of Liberty, I joined his show a couple weeks ago, and thank you to the viewers who jumped over to his program. He reminded me how I was doing internet radio back before anybody was. He's like, you're like one of the only people I knew that was doing it. And it's like, we've been trailblazing on parallel pathways. And yeah, like Joe Rogan and Tim Pool and 50 other people have made mega successes out of themselves. And I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs going, Any day now. Any day now, people are going to get tired of Ben Shapiro and the same 30 voices in conservative media. Any day now. I've talked to all the superstars out there. We've gone the places. We've done the things. Our credentials are just any day now. Any day now. We're ready. David, what are you saying about Trump is sick and won't continue? I don't know about that story. Let me check. Is there anything anything trending? David, if you know about a story or anyone else, tag me on X. We're at American_media_. Yeah, the music is uplifting. Got a bunch of stuff from him. All right. What are we doing here? Looking for all the places to follow us. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen, the New American Media is on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odysee, Twitch, Kick, D Live, and YouTube. Search the New American Media, hit subscribe, and hit the notifications bell. Jump into the comments section, and by the way, copy today's show link on YouTube and send it to a couple friends. Just shoot a text and go, hey, you're kind of smart with current events. We get together every day and we talk about the things going on in the world. You want to join us? I would love to expand the network that we have. Also, thank you to everybody who's subscribed on Patreon to support our work. We're on Patreon at the New American Media. We do have a tip jar on Venmo and Cash App at BrianEngelman. That is my name, scrolling at the bottom so you can spell it correctly. That's BrianEngelman, although California spelled my driver's license brain. Oh, yeah. And finally, on PayPal, the email address to send is fuzzinstallment@yahoo. Fuzzinstallment@yahoo. We'll get you there. All right, let's unpack what we got going on over here. Where are we? All right. My kingdom for a producer. Here we go. Stories on Insta. It's actually kind of hard to navigate with a cat on your arm, and I don't want to disrupt him. I'm trying my darndest. He's being so sweet. But yeah, I don't know the story you're referencing about Trump being sick, so hopefully that's not the case. I don't know where we go if that implodes. He's far from perfect and he's far from getting everything right, but my God, compared to the alternatives, there's no alternative. So yeah, continued prayers of health and safety for the whole administration. All right, Informed with Anthony. Cat cuffs, exactly. Take a look at this. Gavin Newsom. Well, looks like he's finally realizing, and he's been doing this. His social media team has been mocking Trump, trying to type a text like him. His tweets from Gavin Newsom's office are mocking Trump, and now he's copying his successful policies. I mean, in some ways, it's super lame, and in other ways, good. Abandon your trash. Leave your trash out at the curb where it belongs. The Obama doctrine is garbage. All the super woke garbage, leave it be.
All right.
Here's Anthony Cabasa.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, taking a page from the current administration, Governor Gavin Newsom today, while sitting in a desk surrounded by American flags and law enforcement, announces to the press that he will be deploying thousands of CHP agents to cities across California to combat crime. He says that despite crime being down in all major cities across California, it's simply just not low enough. I meant to put not. It's not low enough. He was asked that question. The media actually did a really good job in asking the questions, saying, why did you decide to do this from a desk? It looks kind of presidential. Presidential, huh? And he just said like, oh no, it's just, this is just the way I always have press conferences. And also they asked him, well, isn't this kind of self-defeating? You're saying that crime is down and that what you're currently doing is working.
Because crime isn't down and everybody knows it. And we know the statistics have been fudged because you're lying to us. And then you're saying, no cash bail, just dump the dirtbags back out on the streets. And you're also saying, we don't need to indict these people. They don't need to learn a lesson. Go back out and keep committing crimes.
Why are you deploying thousands of CHP agents then? And he's like, well, even though it is getting lower, it could always be even lower than that. And then he also said that this is going to be working. He's going to be working with federal agencies such as the DEA and FBI and the DOJ to come after criminals and crime in all major cities. He mentioned that they're expanding. This is an operation, I guess, that started in 2023, according to him, in the city of Oakland and San Francisco. And he is now going to.
Oakland is an absolute dumpster fire. Absolute dumpster fire. Oakland is the home of the only closed In-N-Out Burger location, as is my understanding, because of the crime. They lost the Golden State Warriors, the San Francisco 49ers, and the San Francisco Giants. They all moved. They all got the hell out of Oakland. You know why? Because there's no adults keeping the violent criminals in cages. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot to keep your free-range privileges. But if you're going to be an absolute menace to society, you don't get to come back out, except in Oakland, or really any blue city or blue state. That's why people are fleeing those places, because nobody likes Democrat leadership. I'm sorry, air quote, leadership. Military to Minneapolis soon, please. Free breather, what's up, free breather? They gained the A's. No, the Oakland A's fled completely. They left the state. The other ones went to like Santa Clara 49ers. They left Jokeland. I call it Jokeland. I went there a couple times. I was like, ugh. My cousin, rest in peace, Brittany. She said, Oakland, the only city with a cover charge, because you have to pay to get on the bridge to get into Oakland. Not that it's entirely accurate, but it is funny. You got to pay a cover charge to get into Jokeland. Yeah, the Oakland A's have moved. They're going to be the Las Vegas A's. Oakland is run so poorly. Cleveland is run so poorly. Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, every blue city is just a mess. All right, free breather, remind me, where are you watching from and what is your name? I believe it's Sir, right? Kenneth down in Florida. Who else we got? Deb in Sacramento. Deb from Sac. That's obviously a easy one. David from Ontario. Marion and Kenneth. Marion and John from Texas. Everybody else, hit like, hit subscribe, share the show, please. Yeah, Oakland is a mess.
Be deploying these operations.
But remember, Gavin Newsom cleaned up for the Chinese Communist Party when they came. That's it, though. Just for a publicity stunt. He doesn't care about raising the quality of life for the people there. Just for the communist leader of China.
Tactics to major cities across California, to include Bakersfield, San Bernardino, Los Angeles, San Diego, and other major cities across California. Now, what's interesting is that in 2023, he also mentioned during this very same press conference that he was working with the National Guard, that he was deploying National Guard to Oakland and San Francisco to help law enforcement. So I guess he's saying that he's also going to be deploying the National Guard to major cities across California.
He's really imitating Trump. He's in a tough spot. He can either ignore reality and keep pretending Trump's wrong on every single issue, because he's not, or he can copy Trump. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place, really.
To help combat crime? Well, only time will tell. This is a very interesting development. Very interesting timing. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. And as always, make sure you hit that follow button for more breaking news.
All right. Thank you much. But that's Gavin Newsom. And by the way,
all right, ladies and gentlemen,
holding he's been accused of weird jazz hands, like either he's on drugs or, yeah, that'd be funny, Kenneth. They name him the Fonzie A's. The A's. That would be fun. Fonzie should see, that's marketing right there. Fonzie should do a commercial for the A's. That'd be awesome. That'd be so good. But yeah, my reminder, flee blue cities, flee blue states. They hate you. Jack Pasobic here. That's not, let me switch the screen. Jack Pasobic talking about this gender dysphoria person that shot innocent children at a Catholic school in Minnesota. Just evil. Jack Pasobic reminds us, prayer causes pain to demons. This is why demons order their human familiars to urge people to stop praying. It harms their masters, especially when many pray at once or attend church. So wake up, pray up. Raise your hand if you pray. Really, in the comments, tell me, do you pray? And pray tell, do you pray? Now I'm doing a Kenneth. Everything's wordplay. And also question of the day, Easter egg question of the day. Raise your hand if you pray. What is that from? Ben is screaming from the other room. What's up, buddy? You need to come in too? I'm just sitting here doing the show, pal. Hey, Marion right there giving us a prayer emoji. Pray, yeah. Pray, yeah. I mean, it can't hurt, right? And if it helps, why not do it? Let's all pray. I'm not in. I don't want to go to. I just, yeah. I mean, let's go for it. Some of these people are like, I'm an atheist. I am convinced there is nothing. Maybe you're right. But what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? How are you gonna handle being wrong? Why not put your name in the ping pong ball lottery? And if the right religion is actually true, why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? That's not faith. That's called hedging your bets. Look, none of us know what happens when we're done here. Nobody knows what we're supposed to be doing while we're here. Nobody knows how we got here. Yeah, there's ancient mystery schools and traditions and religious texts that are written in code, or that they're hidden inside a catacomb of the Vatican, or inscribed in some hieroglyphic in Mesopotamia or some shit. I mean, who knows? Thanks, buddy. Nimbus went from grooming himself. He was grooming his paw. Now my forearm is getting a sandpaper treatment. Thank you, buddy. That's just so nice. Oh, okay. If you go to a dentist to get a tooth pulled, do you go to a comic to get your finger pulled? It is important to pray, David. I think so. Deb is saying, yeah, God is listening. Oh, pun intended. What the hell? Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, Grand Architect of the universe, Supreme Being, the omnipotent, the omniscient, the all-knowing and all-powerful, however you're specifically defined, call out to you today so that everybody engaged in this conversation, either live or finding it after the fact, may be blessed with opportunity, focus, clarity, success, resources, love, health, legacy, lots of laughter, lots of sex. Yeah, I'm going to say that. God made us this way. We enjoy it. Let's go out and get some of that. And a great communal family, whether they're blood, whether they're community based on who's around us, or people from the multinational audience of the new American media. May we all be blessed In your name we pray. Amen. So mote it be. There we go. So yeah, hopefully God's listening. Either way, I'm going to say it anyway. I'm going to pray it anyway. It's up to God whether he listens or not.
Listen, I think that...
So let's talk about John Bolton. Is John Bolton listening? Well, by the way, this raid, the story is that this didn't start under Trump either. This was a Biden era investigation into John Bolton leaking things. Uh-oh. And John Solomon here is saying that this is a big warning for Adam Schiff and James Comey. I mean, I don't know what you're warning about there. You got them red-handed. Just go get them. So here you go.
We might want to look at the Bolton raid on his home last Friday as the test case for what potentially could be applied to Schiff and to Comey. So those alleged leaks occurred in 19, so they're 6 or 7 years out from the statute of limitations, but they're using the 10-year statute. The argument is you go to the 10-year statute if the leak involves something of national interest, meaning it was something the government was trying to protect for good reason. If that did in fact happen and they bring that case, they've opened the door. Hey, we prosecuted one of our own first. James Comey and Adam Schiff, you're subjects number 2 and 3. And I think a lot of people who are watching this and even working on the inside, they're viewing the raid on John Bolton's house as a warning sign to Comey and to Schiff that, hey, you're not out of trouble. We may come after you next. Listen, I think that we might want to look at the Bolton raid on his home last Friday as the test case for what potentially could be applied to Schiff.
Yeah, oh man. These people are so overdue to get arrested. We have to get justice for the crimes that they've done, or else it's going to keep happening. It is not enough to just move on. You have to punish so that they don't encourage more of this behavior in the future. It's why the Blue City crime is out of control, because you're not punishing the people that are committing the crimes. If you punish somebody for being a... Oh, no. Let's not jump up here. Come, go this way. Hang on. Here goes Nimbus. Thank you for being my cat. Do. Travel down the road and talk about that. You're something. You're a pal and a confidant. Copyright claim. YouTube says that Warner Music Group says that you sang too much of the Golden Girls theme, asshole. So now your 3-hour show won't get distributed in Monaco, Madagascar, or Minnesota. Copyright laws. Goodness. Well, Nimbus was going to jump. Now he's sitting on my lap. I don't know. He's just being all sorts of friendly. All right. Yeah, it's so time to go get Schiff and Comey. You know, I really do appreciate J.D. Vance as a public official. I really do appreciate it. He's a talented communicator. Here he is here, laying it out, making his case for 2028. Is this a message that needed to be said after this horrific demonic attack, this demonic trans attack in Minneapolis?
Will, if you are a politician or you're a media commentator and 2 beautiful babies just got murdered while praying and your politics force you to contemn prayer in response to it, you ought to get new politics because something very wrong has gone on inside your soul. Will, if...
Something is wrong with the left. Something has gone wrong in their soul. It's been an ongoing thing to mock thoughts and prayers. It's like, where's your Messiah now? Whack him. I know that they mock Christ. They mock Christianity. They mock Catholicism. They mock God. They don't like it. They don't like it because they don't fit in, because they just continuously choose to do things and act in a way that isn't compatible with the good book. And then they get mad at the book, and then they, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. They feel like the good book is hate. They feel like God is hate. So then they hate back, and then it's like the people hate those people. I mean, it's, lead with love. Yeah, well, if you led with love, you'd ban guns. No. No, there are legitimate demons who need to be slain. The only thing that's going to slay a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. That's it. It's our duty as first responders to do such a thing. It's our duty to protect as many people as we can around us. It's our duty to protect ourselves and our loved ones. Like I've said, when seconds... Well, there you go, Nimbus. Okay. Oh, there you go. When seconds count, police are only minutes away. Guns save lives and police clean crime scenes. There's a difference. I would love to know why Ben is screaming from my other room. Whew, I'm telling you guys. All right, here is James O'Keefe talking with Roger Stone about the weaponization of the Obama-Biden White House.
I had no idea that the whole thing would be rigged, but I realized...
Music in the background. I gotta mute it. Fuckers, stop playing fucking music. You're ruining your clips by adding music because they're getting sneaky and tricky. They offer free music up, but it's not free. Then they file copyright claims. God damn it. Sorry, I've had to go through 40, 50, 60, 70 videos appealing copyright claims. I'm here to listen to Roger Stone talk with James O'Keefe. I don't give a flying fuck about any of the music in the background. Oh, this music filed a copyright claim. You assholes. Sorry, it's so frustrating. Billy Carson. Is Billy Carson a black guy? I think I might know a Billy Carson that's been in the woo-woo circuit a little bit. Am I thinking of the right guy? Ugh.
I was arrested in January. In July was when they said to me,
said to his lawyers, look, we can hit you with some superseding charges and you'll die in prison, is what they threatened Roger Stone with. Or you can agree to testify against Donald Trump. Those are your choices. And the guy pushes this piece of paper across, says, all you got to do is sign this. Look at it. I look at it, I realize every word of it's false. And I said, you can take this and you shove it up your ass because I'm not doing that. Now, I'd already passed 2 polygraph tests proving everything they wanted to say to me was false. So they wanted me to be the ham in their ham sandwich. I refused to do it. I was not going to be Michael Cohen. I was not going to lie. I was not going to say things that weren't true. I will never bear false witness. That's what you said. That's what they wanted me to do. A lot of people wanted me to do that. I really wanted you to hear them speak it. I'm sorry I had to read that. It's just so damned frustrating because it keeps happening. But I would be watching. Man, one of the ones that did not win the appeal, it was 14 seconds of showing the flood either in Texas or it's probably the Texas flood. I mean, you could barely even hear music in the. It is such a scam that they're doing to try to flag copyright and steal people's advertising revenue. So yes, I've seen Billy Carson. Why do you bring him up, Deb? David saying everything has gone on long enough, in my opinion, of course. Kenneth saying, David, it's either coming to a head or we've been mostly misled. That rhymes. Agreed. All right, Riley Gaines here says guns aren't the threat. This happened in Minneapolis, a city with some of the strictest and unconstitutional gun laws in the United States. I'm sick of people pretending the answer is fewer guns. The real issue is a culture that affirms mental derangement at every turn. So, do you agree or disagree with that? Do you agree or disagree with Riley Gaines saying that guns aren't the threat? The issue is a culture affirming mental derangement at every turn. Please type in the comments, QOTD. Agree. It's a culture problem. It's a mental derangement problem. Or disagree. It's a gun problem. I welcome your thoughts. Tulsi Gabbard. Director of National Intelligence, says those like Jen Psaki and Jacob Frey, who criticize prayers in the wake of the Minneapolis tragedy, are motivated. In the wake of the Minneapolis tragedy, are expressing the same anti-God sentiment that motivated the shooter. He aimed his wrath at God by trying to stop people with his bullets from praying to God. Now is the time for us to come together and join hands in prayer for the children who were killed, their loved ones, and those who survived this horrific shooting. Yeah, I mean, by the way, anybody else who was in that room, I mean, these people are scarred for life. You fucked these people up big time. I was watching that interview with that kid, 10-year-old kid or something, and he's like, yeah, I saw my friend get shot in the back. My other friend jumped on top of me and blah, blah, blah. And he was just cool, calm, and collected. I mean, is he going to break down when he gets home? Damn right he is. Probably. There's so much collateral damage done. It's not just 2 people. I mean, how many others were injured? 14, maybe 12 or 14. I forget the exact number. And I don't want to dwell on this, but like, you know, this is the time to come together and join hands in prayer for the kids that were killed, their loved ones, and everybody that survived. It's like everyone's damaged by this. Like they broke so many people. Deb saying this dude is a grifter, Billy Carson. He bashed the Christian community and exposed himself as a fraud. There's a lot of people in the UFO woo-woo community that think Christ is a myth and all of it's a fraud. And there's a lot of that. You know, Democrats, by and large, don't believe in God. I can't believe you said that. You have no idea if we believe in God. Really? Let's talk about school prayer. Ban it from schools. Separation of church and state. Okay, I guess that was wrong of me to assume that Democrats are godless. We're not all godless. You kind of said godless, sounding like a snake there. I am not a snake. Eat his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. The left really has a demonic thread running through it. Not everybody, of course. There's a lot of good, misguided people. Too many wimpy whites, though, that have gone along with the brainwashing, the manipulation, and the self-loathing and self-hatred. You've been programmed and conditioned to hate yourself, to hate your race, to hate your gender, to hate your God, to hate your planet, to hate your country, hate yourself, hate reality. Stop. And I would really like to get to the bottom of the education system. We're making headway with the coup and the treasonous acts of Obama, Biden, and the deep state. We're making headway with autism and vaccines. We're making headway with Russian collusion and all the scams that were run on us. We're making headway with a lot of things, but we're not really addressing the school system. The teachers, the pink-haired weirdos that are grooming your kids to be weirdos, to hate themselves and to hate the tradition that they were raised with inside of their household. We have no chance surviving as a culture, as a country, if we're letting the crazies manipulate, brainwash, and cause brain damage to our children in our schools. I would love to see more of a priority placed on that, by the way. Yes, I'm still here. Sorry, I'm getting messages on pop-up messages on the Restream. All right. Amy Reichert, let me ask you this. Do you agree or disagree with Amy? Hang on, I got to type this because I can't move away from the page. All right. On the agree disagree question, Yeah, it's a cultural problem. John agrees, of course. Marion, question of the day, agrees, of course. Guns shamed my mama. What? Yes, Deb, send me a clip later. I will check that out. David agrees. It's a cultural problem. David adds, I definitely would be more than angry if we've been misled. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. There's an Epstein list, and then poof, there's no list. You're going, what in the world are we doing? What are we doing? Is that true, Kenneth? You listened to a Billy Carson on a Books on Tape and got carsick? That's wild. Oh, still getting messages, even when others. All right. Democrats. Yeah, some of them. All right. Agree or disagree? Tell the girl's messaging me to stop. I'm live on air. It is a girl, actually. Her name is B. B-E-A. Wasn't I singing? Thank you for being a friend. Do. B. Arthur. Get it? Thank you for B. Arthur friend. Okay. Let me ask you. Here's another question of the day. Crowd participation. Welcome. Do you agree or disagree with Amy Reichert? Amy says female hormones should never be prescribed to mentally unstable men. Physicians who do so should be held liable for consequences. Oh, Deb, you missed it. Deb, you missed it yesterday. Talking about stalker chicks as fans. Yourself excluded, of course. No, there was a bit of an issue yesterday. A repeat stalker harassment situation. And that's what I'm getting messaged about on Restream. When this happened, if you add the YouTube, sorry, like this keeps popping up in the middle of my screen, so I have to address it. All right, there we go. And by the way, Deb, hey now, that is my new favorite song from the past couple weeks. I've just been so hooked on that song by Crowded House. You may remember that song from The Stand. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now. Yeah, I love that song. But yeah, do you agree or disagree with Amy Reichert? Female hormones should never be prescribed to mentally unstable men. Physicians who do so should be held liable for the consequences. Agree or disagree? Question of the day, type it in the comments. I agree. Deb, if you want to see what it was, you could go back, to the last hour of yesterday's show? Dude showed up making of something, just a disjointed, violent threat, or like a wishing bad, violent things on Scott Jennings. I'm like, Scott Jennings did nothing wrong in today's episode. And he started yelling at me about lying about about autism. I'm like, I didn't say anything about autism. What the fuck is your problem, guy? And it continued. And I kept blocking him, and it wouldn't block. So I tagged his YouTube account on X, put it up there, tagged Cash Patel and the FBI. I called the FBI, filed a report. I'm like, I'll be damned if you're going to come in here and threaten me, you punk. And yeah, I don't want to relive that. But these damn messages popping up from Restream, like I'm trying to talk to you, and it's bloop. If you hear bloop, Deb loves that song. I'm going to do a music reaction to that. Are you following? Are you following my third YouTube channel? I have 4 or 5 channels. One of them is called I Like YouTube Just Fine. Here, let me click on it. Let me say hi. I'll say, hey now. So it's I like the letter U. I like YouTube Just Fine. Subscribe to that one. That's where I'm going to do my music reactions. Although I'm tempted to just do a music reaction channel because I have my Twist of Nothing personal music catalog up there, and I don't want that to get taken down over a copyright thing. Yeah, fuck it. I'm just going to do my music reaction videos on there. They take it down, take it down. I don't like YouTube. They don't like me. Like, we need to stop pretending. But yes, please. Hey now, come feed my horses. Hey now. It's a good song. No, I know. It sounds like a troll, but this is the second time he's made terroristic, violent death threats towards me. He came out doing it in December 12th of last year because I took screenshots and saved his stuff for last time. I'm not letting that shit slide. You don't get to come in here and mess with the bartender and my regulars. You don't fuck with my establishment. You are banned permanently. You are no persona non grata. You are not welcome here. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with that guy, but he's no longer welcome in this establishment. Ever. I am willing to, I entertain troll comments. I entertain the copy paste people that are like assigned to our account. There is freedom within. There is freedom without. Try to catch the deluge in a paper cup. So by the way, I did reach out to my guitar player, my bass player from my college band. But when we reconstituted to do a tribute show to my brother when he passed, my bass player played guitar in that version of the band, and my dad played bass. I played drums and sang backup, and Brandon sang and played guitar. A lot going on. But I did ask him. I said, "Hey, Greg," or Barth, as we call him, but I'll call him Greg. Greg, I love this song. Can you record a version of it? So he's working on it. I want to sing it. I do, because I was singing it one day in the shower, and I was like, "Ooh, I can hit these notes." Now, whether I can reproduce that on a recording, we'll see. But I'm going to give it a shot. Marion says, "Oh, I can't multitask very well, so I'll subscribe to all your shows after this one." Yes. Thank you, Marion. Yep. The Unhappy Hour Sports Show, and I Like YouTube Just Fine. The letter U. YouTube. The letter YouTube. Let me put hey now from another YouTube channel. I got a lot of YouTube channels. You kind of have to. Yeah, I do picking winners. That's a resale channel where I sell items. I'll be making more content on that today, listing more items on eBay and other places. Yeah, yesterday's show went off the rails toward the end. because I kept banning him, and it, like, the comments kept coming up, and I'm like, this is not okay. What is? So I'm reading Restream the Riot Act. I'm just like, what? When I clicked to ban this guy, fucking ban him. That should have been the end of it. We shouldn't have been talking about this anymore. Because I really do. I give people the ability, express your opinion. Stay mostly civil. You have to stay mostly civil. We say, seeking truth, challenging dogma, having fun. Join us in the mostly civil conversation. You could call Scott Jennings names. You could say you don't like him. You don't get to say, I hope he meets the front of a speeding bus. And you're like, why are you wishing death on Scott Adams? What is wrong with you? So I put the comment up like, hey, pal, you want attention coming in here, posting some really fucked up shit? All right, here's the attention you wanted. What's the point you're trying to make? He went on talking trash to Kenneth, very specifically threatening me with death. And yeah, you're going to have a lot of fun after your jaw's wired shut. And I'm like, who the fuck are you, man? And it's like, when I click once to ban somebody on Restream, the story should be over. Don't dream it's over. But Restream wouldn't let me. Yeah, I would say 3-hour tours are pretty much the standard. Like, that's my main. If I'm doing something in 60 to 90, like Blake always wanted, I'm like, I feel like I'm rushing. I'm leaving a whole bunch of stuff out. I'm not interacting with the audience. It's like it's not me. I can do it, and I have. In like weekend shows, I try to be succinct. Some of the other shows with some time constraints, like a couple. What day or what even week or where am I? A couple days ago, they had I guess it was earlier this week. Was it Monday, Tuesday? And we had service outage issues. So I had to wake up super fast, get to the show super fast, and do the show super fast before my service went out. So yeah, it's he was Russian AI, I think. Isn't that weird that shooter wrote all that stuff out in Russian for some reason? And bashing Israel and saying he wants to K Donald Trump. And it's like, I don't know. I just don't know what to make of these psyops. Anyway, keep female hormones out of men. Don't do that, please. All right, let's bounce over here to our X feed. Once again, as I said, pinned to the top of our X feed is our Patreon interview with John B. Wells. Here, let me click it. Let me share this tab instead.
He called me up a couple of days. I said, well,
let's just listen to a moment. Look at me. That looks like me. Am I doing the face? Listen to how great of a speaking voice John B. Wells has. And then check out this episode if you haven't watched it. But then also consider joining our Patreon. Like so many of you have. Thank you so much. Here you go.
well, be sure and give me the cassette back. And he goes, yeah, I will. So as this, this is a priceless relic. And so he hired me at this little mom and pop station. I stayed there a year and 2 months, and I went to this big rock station in Dallas, which was kind of floundering. And when I left there, I had a record share. I didn't do it. The Lord did it. Okay. And I was the wildest thing they'd ever seen before or since, but it yielded some good things. But by the time I came to my time there, which was 2 years and 10 months, the producers were calling from all over town, booking me on sessions. And I have been the voice of virtually all of the top 50 radio stations in this country, but nobody knows that it's me. I mean, WNEW New York, WCBS News Radio 88,
WNBC,
BBM in Chicago, WWJ in Detroit. I mean, I had an AM and FM and a TV station all at the same time, being the main image voice of their stations in Dallas, Texas. And nobody said anything about it. It was fine. An AM and FM and a TV. So this turned into, this was a great career for a long time. But I hit Dallas at exactly the right time.
Check out that interview. It's just like, dude's a legend. Like I appreciate John, and John appreciates me. And like I said, I had multiple meetings with the BBC about doing a television show. They kind of came up with All American Conspiracy was like the placeholder name. and they wanted someone of my demographic with someone a little older. I'm like, I got a guy. Yeah, my dude, he's been on my show 10, 15 times. Let's get John B. Wells. Like, all right. We had a few meetings. We did not end up doing that project, but yeah, I thought John has told me before that I was the first person to reach out to him to do an interview. Like he got the Coast to Coast gig, and I was like, who is this guy? I want to learn more about him. I like how his brain works. And he's got a great voice, one of the best radio voices of all time. But yeah, so he's always had an affinity for me because I was like the first person to reach out to like ask him to do a full interview. Like John Odermatt, Lions of Liberty. He's like, yeah, you were the first podcast I ever did. He's like, I'll always remember that. You were the first, like, I don't know. Like I'm whatever, not to be retrospective, but yeah, I've always appreciated John because he comes by. I try not to burn him out, a couple times a year, once a year. I left him alone for a couple of years as I relaunched the New American Media. I'm like, we're not there yet. Well, then I started booking more guests. I'm like, I got to reach out to John. Got to get John. Yeah. And then we got him back. So this is the interview I want you all to watch about where John came from and then the state of affairs, talking God, Trump, Biden, deep state, and World War III. It's on our Patreon page. And I encourage you all to check it out. And if you'd be so kind, consider joining our Patreon. It's pinned there on the top of our X feed. There we go. There's our live feed. All right. Knives Out says the Vigilant Fox. You should follow this account. They do some good stuff. Yep. Nope. I'll go full screen. Here we are. Kenneth saying the Lord steers you right if you let him. I had an interesting moment yesterday. Going out to eat, and the conversation was like, you hungry? I'm like, Sheila, yeah, you hungry? Yeah, I'm really hungry. I'm like, yeah, I'm really hungry. Okay. Like, is there any food to make? Anything in the fridge? It's like, anything in the freezer? Do we want to cook? All right, let's go eat. I didn't really want to go spend any money, but all right. Go to dinner. Pulling in. It's like a side road, and then you go past a couple of establishments, and it's right there. And as I'm making the turn before the turn, I see if there's a dude in like a red Mustang. And I see him turn, and then the car door's open. I go, why is that guy's car door open? And then I start driving past, and I look, and I see that like he's kind of half in, half out the car, and the door's open, and he's like trying to push it. And he's not like really getting anywhere. And I'm like, So I pull around, go into the bank. That's where it was at. And I park and get out and said, hey, you need a hand here? He's like, yeah, man, if you could help, I'd really appreciate it. I got to get it out of the driveway and go to the, let's push it into a parking space. I said, yeah, all right, sure. Cool. Fine. I said, where do you want me to put I don't want to put it on this fin and break it off. Like what he goes, anywhere is fine. I go, okay. So I put my hands on it and started pushing it. It took a little bit of effort, and this guy was pushing, and we finally got it moving, and we got it. It was kind of like on a bit of an incline. We had to push it over into a stall and put it in there. And he's like, thank you so much. I go, no worries. I go, it's happened to me. Anytime you have and I'd been watching some videos on YouTube. There's a guy that goes around with his tow truck, and if he sees people on the side of the road, he'll stop and help them for free. He'll just film it and put it on YouTube and get views and stuff, and ends up making money off that. But I was like, yeah, it's just you don't pass somebody up that needs a hand. You stop and help them, because that could be you. That literally has been me. I can't remember if I was driving to college or going up to Ontario, David, when I'd go to Windsor. I was going somewhere, college or Canada or something that starts with the C. And yeah, I had a blowout, and somebody stopped and helped me, got the donut tire on and helped me get to where I was going. And I was just an angel showed up out of nowhere. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. I don't even know if I had AAA at the time. And this is probably before cell phones. Holy fuck, am I old? A time before cell phones. Yeah, but I just always said, like, yeah, if someone needs help, I'll try to stop and help. And so anyway, pushed him into the stall, and he's like, "Oh, thank you so much." I just said, "Yeah, happy to help. We've all been there, and we'll just pay it forward." He goes, "Hey, man, you and your wife have let me get you guys dinner." I go, "No, I didn't stop to get it. Like, I didn't do this to get anything out of it. I just wanted to get your car out of you're blocking you're right in the driveway entrance of this bank, and that was not going to be good come 7:00 this morning." And I go, "No, I don't need it." He goes, No. I'm like, seriously, you guys, let me get your dinner. Like, you guys go get dinner. And I go, thank you. Like I said, I was just thinking, I don't really want to go spending money today. There's probably food I could make that's in the fridge or the freezer or in the pantry or something. And dude handed me a $50 bill, and I was like, hey now, I'll eat some fajitas. And yeah, I went and had dinner, and then tipped the guy $10. And then on the way out, she's like, "Hey, give me a couple quarters. Get 4 quarters." I go, "Oh, okay." And there were some kids that were playing the machine. So it feels like the penny has dropped. Remember from yesterday, the penny drops into the slot machine? But there were kids doing like the 25 cents or 75 cents, do the thing and spin the thing, and a ball comes down and you get a toy in their lobby. And so gave those kids 4 quarters. Spread the wealth, spread the love, help, pass it on. So we passed on some money to that restaurant, passed on some money to that server, passed on some quarters to those kids. And then I went back and I said, "Give me $2 more worth of quarters." Gave them $2 more worth of quarters to these 2 kids. Like, "Oh, thanks." They were super excited. And I think out of that whole 50, I was left with a single dollar bill. And it was in my wallet. And I may or may not have just bought a lottery ticket with it. Talk about paying it forward. Let's let that one be the one that changes everything. But the point of that story was just saying, I did not want to spend that money. Didn't want to go blow half $100. And just by being a good human being, the Lord delivered $50 in dinner right to me instantaneously. It was weird. Weird in the best way. I hope every day is weird. But you don't do things looking for kudos or attention or for reward. You just do them because you hope someone would help you. You do them because it's the right thing to do. You just do it. I guess not everybody's raised the right way, but help your fellow man. They could be angels in disguise. Well, I mean, to him, I showed up out of nowhere. I just swung right. I didn't even think about it. I actually did say, I go, "Hey, do you know how to work this thing?" I go, "In case this is a trap of some sort, do you know how to turn the safety off?" And she's like, "No." I go, "Yeah, fuck it, I'm fine." But there's so many movies and TV shows you watch where it's like someone good stops to help, but it's a trap. Have you seen that? Whether it's Walking Dead or American, there was something on Netflix that I watched, American Primeval, and it was a group going across in their wagons and horses, and they stopped to help some little kid playing with a doll in the road by herself. Like, "Oh my gosh, we got to help." And then it was an ambush. They stopped and they got ambushed, and it did not go well. So even walking into a situation trying to help, I'm like, So I really should have holstered before I got out, but I just got out and helped. I mean, I was right at a bank. Everything's on camera. It's a bad spot to do some shady stuff. But anyway, that was a cool moment yesterday. Yeah, paying it forward. And I scrolled this morning, saw a video of a guy go to the toll booth. He filmed it to put it out, and it's tricky because you're supposed to do charity and donations quietly. You don't want to be out there. But also when you show people a way, it's like, "Oh, I could do that." It's also inspiring, and you could also personally make money off of it, but that's always the trick. Like, if you make a donation, do you want it to be super private and super quiet? You don't want attention for it, because if you're giving just to get attention, then it sort of cancels out the good that you're doing. It's like, that's personal motivation. I'm not, I thought you were doing something good, but that was self-fulfilling. And it's like, it could be both, maybe. Help your fellow man, and it could be a chick. I mean, Deb saying, a sweet lady once helped me on a flight where I got sick on the way to Maui. I snuck $100 bill into her Bible. I bet she was surprised when she found it. Yeah, Deb. Woohoo! I've got a lot of Bibles, several for sale and more that I need to list for sale. I don't want to collect Bibles. I want to snag them at garage sales and estate sales and then sell them. They sell for good money. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 or more bucks for cool Bibles. So if you find them for $1, pick them up, but get them listed fast. That's the type of stuff I do on Picking Winners Resale, the YouTube channel. I sold a Santa Biblia. It was a Spanish language Bible, leather bound, that I picked up a few houses down from an estate sale. The guy was moving out. Got an awesome Homer Simpson mask as well. I mean, it's like a full head. You pop it on and you are Homer Simpson. It's wild. I posted a video on my Instagram feed if you want to watch it. Brain stand-up. Brain stand-up. Yeah, that's what I called it. And I'm dancing as Homer Simpson. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I keep opening Bibles. I got to check for money. I haven't found money in a Bible yet, but I'm hoping. All right, let's get back to the news. I just wanted to share that story because I've been thinking about all these things. Yes, Deb, exactly. Bragging about your good works negates the act itself. I've always been taught that. So like I try not to talk about those stories, but like in talking about those stories, you're also reinforcing, hey guys. Don't brag about your good deeds. You know they're self-fulfilling, self-serving. Anyway. Hello, Nick Adams. How are you? Okay. Let's talk about the Vigilant Fox here. It's a good thread. Where did it go? There it is. So knives are out. The media thought they had their opening to derail Maha. And for those of you who aren't aware about it, Maha stands for Make America Healthy Again. And I've teamed up with President Trump and the MAGA administration to try to get American health back on track. It's really been in a sorry state of affairs for a long time. I did say yesterday I want to do a Maha minute. Instead of Carolyn Levitt's MAGA minute, I want to do a Maha minute. I do have an idea of... Okay, I need to just take the idea, record the short. That'll be my goal today. I want to release my first Maha minute short. But I think I have to dress like him. I think I need a button-up shirt, a tie, a skinny tie. Got to have the sleeves. And I do also, like, I kind of rock that look if I have to dress up. No. I agree, Deb. I don't think I'm bragging at all. I'm telling you a story where I was surprised and shocked, and but it was the Lord, like, just jumping in. It's like the conversation was, I don't want to spend the money. It's not the right. I don't want to waste half $100 today or $100 or, depending on what you get. And it was like, bam, you don't have to waste anything. It's on me. Like, oh my Lord. Thank you so much. I agree. So they were trying to derail Maha. They filled the White House briefing room with loaded questions about Susan Monarez's firing, painting Trump and RFK as reckless. But Carolyn Levitt crushed their scripts on the spot. Just do your job. That's what this president wants to see, and it was a total reckoning. Check out that thread. So they're kind of cleaning house at HHS. They are really moving some people around, which is good. We asked Grok about this wild claim about parasites, and ivermectin. And how many of us do you think have parasites? They're saying that there's a 1889 surgeon reporting the cancer is parasites. The medicine I was taught was one big lie. That's the allegation. I don't make that claim. For anything health or election related, please go seek out at the bottom of my screen scrolling countervailing views on health and elections. Go to cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control. Don't ever take medical advice from me, and don't believe any of the stuff about anything, especially if it contradicts the other stuff. I feel like I'm living in a fucking cuckoo clock where I have to put all these disclaimers out there because social media will silence you, demonetize you, destroy your livelihood and your ability to earn a living. Once again, not to harp on it, but holy fuck if I haven't been handcuffed and kneecapped. Whether I'm talking about Seth Rich or vaccines or Anthony Weiner's laptop or the 2020 election or Corona, like all of it. God, if they didn't just hammer my accounts to make sure we can't be monetized, our fans can't find our content. It's disgusting. But anyway, we just asked, hey Grok. We said, what say you? Because it's a wild claim. Red Pill USA says several African countries implemented ivermectin as part of their public health policies. And they're asking for the cancer rates. Parasites and cancer incidence rates. So it looks like it's half. Higher rates in developed nations stem from older populations, better detection, lifestyle factors. Lab studies show IVM may have anti-cancer effects, but human evidence is limited and unproven for causation. That sounds fair. And then there are several lab studies, according to Grok, on ivermectin's anti-cancer properties, including Tang et al. In 21, pharmacological research, in vitro effects on cancers like breast and colorectal via apostasis and autophagy. Anyway, there's a whole bunch listed there, so check that out. Here's yesterday's show. Did George and Alex Soros are the main puppet masters destroying America? Agree or disagree? That is yesterday's show, pinned on our X account at American_media_. All right, let's get to Israel. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. I had a libertarian confidant, a home slice of mine, sent this and said they're just so appreciative of MTG being based. She is so based. So MTG, well, let me ask you, agree or disagree with Marjorie? Actually, let me switch this. I always show you A2D4. Let me do A2D3. All right, so do you agree or disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who says, if America was being bombed day and night because of something horrific that our government did, and many innocent Americans and American children were being killed and traumatically injured, and we begged for mercy, but the rest of the world said, Americans voted for their government, so they deserve it. Their government is bad, so all Americans are bad. Therefore, this is what they get and must be done. And the world was silent to our suffering, and no one came to our aid, and our cities and homes were bombed and turned to rubble, and our infrastructure was destroyed. No farms, no grocery stores, no more organized society, and no one helped our injured and hungry children. How would you feel? What would you think? What would you do? This is what is happening to Gaza, where in spite of what we have all been told, many innocent people and children are being killed, and they are not Hamas. Does Hamas deserve it? Yes. Do innocent people and children deserve it? No. The innocent people in Gaza did not kill and kidnap the innocent people in Israel on October 7th. Just as we spoke out and had compassion for the victims and families of October 27th, how can Americans not speak out and have compassion for the masses of innocent people and children in Gaza? Is one type of innocent life worthy and another type of innocent life worth nothing? For me, I think God sees all innocent lives the same, and he loves them all. As a matter of fact, he sent his son for all people. That's how much he loves us. America funds Israel $3.8 billion annually for military aid. That means every U.S. taxpayer is contributing to Israel's military actions. I don't know about you, but I don't want to pay for genocide in a foreign country against a foreign people for a foreign war that I had nothing to do with. And I will not be silent about it. So, question of the day, QOTD. Do you agree or disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene about Gaza? What say you? Comments? I mean, that's pretty fair, I think. I would agree. I would also add, well, can't say that. That's just too mean. I had the thought about, I wouldn't want America to be bombed by Ukraine because it was Joe Biden that convinced Zelensky to keep pushing NATO up to the borders of Russia to spark that conflict. Well, Joe Biden and Victoria Nuland and Barack Hussein Obama are the ones that did that. Yeah, they're the puppet masters behind Zelensky. Zelensky's a comedian. He's not a real leader of that country. He's a puppet. Why should we all suffer? We didn't vote for Biden. 81 million people didn't vote for Biden. Damn right I said it. By the way, for countervailing views on health and elections, go to cisa.gov/rumor control because they think Joe Biden got 81 million totally legitimate votes. Yeah. But I wouldn't want all of America wiped off the face of the map because Joe Biden exists. I don't want Joe Biden anywhere near the country position of power. And then you hear, well, 80% of the people voted for Hamas to be their government. Then the counter view is, no, they're all young and none of them voted in that election. Now they can't get them out. Okay, you can't get them out. So stage a revolution and take back your country and try to get along with your neighbors. They don't want to get along with their neighbors because they don't belong there. From the river to the sea, they need to be exterminated. Because Hamas believes the Jews should be exterminated and wiped off the face of the map, literally. So now that Israel is wiping Gaza off the map, that's not okay either. But if it's 2 men enter, 1 man leaves, which one gets to leave? The one that did not butcher 1,200 people at a music festival, or the ones that did butcher 1,200 people at a music festival? It sucks. I don't know. I don't wave a flag of either team. They said, sir, what is going on in Gaza? And I said, I just want them to stop dying. That's a fair policy position, but it's vague. It's trite. It doesn't really get to the core of anything. It's not enough. It sounds okay because it is true, but in reality, how do you stop it? Well, they decided they wanted a death match to the end, to the pain. They're getting what they asked for. Well, not everybody asked for it. I do understand that. I don't know. But that's what's going on over there. Deb. Okay, I was laying all warm and cozy in bed, and Brian made me wake up, so now I'm making coffee. Brian. You're spelling it Brian, but it's 4 syllables, not 3. And I pronounce syllables incorrectly intentionally. It's Brian. Na. Brian. That's 2. Yin na. See, I want 4 syllables next time you do the Brian. I'll never forget that lady. This is the ghetto Brian. Excuse me? We don't want things getting fixed up around here. You can talk about your pathetic life all you want. I don't live in the ghetto. Wherever I live is going to get elevated. That's the type of guy I am. Everywhere I've been, I make things better. Try to. You can stay as a cancer in your society if you want. Brian, this is the ghetto, Brian. Bleh. An argument over making the grass greener and grassier. I got yelled at during the show yesterday about lying about autism. I didn't say anything about autism. I don't. I have a psychology degree, but I don't really understand mental illness. I just, for the life of me, I don't. But Ryan, B to the Ryan. Get some pastrami at that Ryan. Banana. No, Brian, not banana. All right, any news? Let's get back to the news. You're the one that took me off the news track. So anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene, agree or disagree? Amuse is reporting. Well, in response to the Donald Trump post about George Soros and Sons should be charged with RICO because they support violent protesters. They're not going to allow these lunatics to rip America apart anymore, never giving it so much as a chance to breathe and be free. Soros and his group of psychopaths have caused great damage to our country, including his crazy West Coast friends. Be careful. We're watching you. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Amuse replied, non-governmental organizations or NGOs. That's the reason so many major Democrat donors like Bill Gates are pulling back from dark money fiscal sponsors, think Arabella advisors, for radical and extremist NGOs paying for and organizing protests that often turn violent is now because they know Trump's DOJ is working on RICO cases against Soros and Weiss. So yeah. Arabella Advisors, Bill Gates pulling his funding from that. That was if not surprising, it's significant, I think. Camus here is referencing this Bill Gates clip about the CCP, saying as Bill Gates buys up vast swaths of U.S. farmland, American farmer John Boyd implores everybody to start growing their own food or buying locally from independent farmers to ensure that their food is safe to eat. It's a 4.5-minute clip, so check that one out. But yeah, there's another question of the day. QOTD, tell me in the comments, are you growing any food? I have some stuff growing, but not enough. Some stuff is growing, but not enough. All right, I'm actually going to switch back to A2D4. Deb says, actually, Brian, what I did, and quite cleverly, I might add, is to pivot you off calling me a stalker to singing Hey Now through the whole show now. Show now, the whole show, LOL. See what I did there? Yes, you are what the Puritans in Boston might call a magician or a witch. Yes, you cleverly got me to do that. All right. Here, let's play this little clip here.
American farmland. Gates alone holds over 275,000 acres across 19 states. National Black Farmers Association President John Boyd Jr. joins us now. John, so great to have you on. So I'm sure you put a lot of thought into this. Why do you think Bill Gates is buying up all this land?
Well, one is greed, and it's running America's family farm is off family land. Basically, we can't buy the land once Bill Gates moves into the area. For example, his data center is right next door here, and since he's located in Borton, Virginia, land prices have went through the roof, $15,000-$20,000 an acre.
Why are we letting large swaths of our land getting purchased up? Tell me.
What farmer do you know that can pay that kind of money per acre? Off anything that we can grow on the farm. He doesn't do anything when he comes into these areas to support community-based organizations or invest back into these communities. That's what's hurting America right now.
Yeah.
And what he's trying to do now in the food industry is the same thing that they've done with seeds. When they put genetically modified seeds in, and now he wants to do that with beef. But America's farmers are proud farmers, and I'm asking Americans not to support fake meat, but to support farmers out here who grow beef like I do, and poultry and pork. Support America's farmers and not support Bill Gates and this mega theory and mindset that he has.
Yeah.
It's really called greed.
Yeah, no, and by the way, it's not just Bill Gates. The Chinese also gobbling up a lot of American farmland. You talked about pork. The Chinese own.
Why in the world would we let foreign countries run our farms? These are our farms. This is our food supply. This is something America needs to handle. It's that straightforward.
The biggest pork processing plant, Brazil does too, but China, I think, owns multiple of them. It's not good for our economy, and it's not good for the small farmer. I'm thinking about all of these problems, right? They're trying to push synthetic meat on us. They're messing with the seeds, as you talk about, with these genetically modified seeds. And it doesn't appear that Congress or government is doing enough to stop China from buying the land, to stop Bill Gates from doing these things. So what should the people who are watching the show right now, what should be their response? Should they be buying up land? Should they be learning to farm so that they can secure, their own food supply for their own families?
Absolutely. And I just visited 39 townships around the country, urging small family farmers to start growing small plots of food in their backyard, raise healthy foods that they know.
So tell me, are you growing food in your backyard, and what are you growing? What's working well? What's not working well?
That are safe to consume. And if you grow it, and it tastes different from the food that you buy in the supermarket. It's fresh, it's good, it's wholesome. Those are the things that we're going to have to do. And if you can afford a new Mercedes-Benz or a Cadillac or SUV, you can afford 5 acres in the country, people. So start investing in rural America. Start supporting small family farmers around there. Guess what? They can start buying beef from a small-scale farmer. I raised 150 head of beef cattle here, and I can tell you right now, it's nothing fake about it. And I'm proud of the product that leaves Boyd's farm. And all of our farmers right here in America feel the same way. And we see right now we're getting bullied by China and people like Bill Gates who are coming into our area. And you spoke about China. They come into these auctions and they have someone bidding for them. And again, they're buying these farms at auctions, running the prices through the roof with no oversight from this administration. And there's been no oversight or I've requested meetings time and time again on your show to meet with the president and talk about these very, very important issues. And our requests fell upon deaf ears.
I read a book called Rising Sun back in the day. They had a movie by, who was in that? Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes, I believe. And it was about certain countries in Asia that were buying up their land and how they enacted policies that would not let foreigners take over their land. I don't understand why America is allowing this. It doesn't make any sense. Our food supply is too critical of a resource to be run by foreign interests.
I think this is one of the most important issues facing America. I'm really glad you're drawing attention to it. It's also a health issue. It doesn't just taste better, John. It's better for you to eat natural and not all this synthetic stuff that Bill Gates and wants to put down, or even from these giant processing plants. You're right. I buy my pork. It might be from a local farmer near me. That's the way to do it. That's the safest, healthiest way. John, thank you for coming, for bringing attention to this, but also reminding people it just takes a few acres and you can have your own food supply. Microsoft found
it doesn't need a few acres. You do what you can with what you got. Marion tried to grow stuff in years past, but the deer keep coming up to eat it all, so I gave up this year. I know. It's like you have to pay a deer tax, a squirrel tax, a rabbit tax, a bird tax. A lot of tax. Yeah, why are we selling off the farms? It just, for the life of me. But at least we're talking about it now. I do appreciate that. Deb saying, or she's a wizard. Abracadabra. Yes, there you go. We'll go with wizard. How about that? I Love American News said, how do you get a guy to block the sun, how does a guy get to block the sun, cover your organic fruit with a film, insert fake meat into the supply chain, bioengineer mosquitoes to release vaccines without anyone's consent or approval, and not be called a supervillain? Can anyone tell me why Bill Gates is still getting away with what Bill Gates is doing? I don't get it. I don't understand the Bill Gates thing. Wall Street Mav doesn't either. Excuse me. Pointing out here, President Trump met with Bill Gates for 3 hours this week. This was their second meeting since the election. Bill Gates has been cutting funding to left-wing groups that fund the NGOs causing chaos. Bill Gates was reportedly told he will be charged with RICO if he continues. So that's the theory, that he's being warned to back off. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But there is a bit of a problem. The problem is that without punishment, they're going to keep doing it. So if the Trump administration is getting these people to stand down, that's actually a sort of like the Epstein story in a nutshell. What if they have all the information, but it would be more useful, in their opinion, to negotiate behind the scenes, a stand down, a checkmate, if you will? What if that's what's happening? Because it doesn't make sense. The rollout of the Epstein list, there is no list, all of that doesn't make sense. But if President Trump is meeting with Bill Gates to get him to stand down and to stop funding these groups, I don't know. Would you rather see Gates in prison, or would you rather see all this stuff stopped? I don't know how it stops unless you make an example of these people. So I just don't know where we go from here. Anyway, Bill Gates has been cutting funding to left-wing groups that fund the NGOs that are causing chaos in America. Bill Gates was reportedly told he's charged with RICO if he continues. All right, so follow that. Hey, I did broadcast this on our sports channel, as I told you, the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Big news in the world of sports. Yeah, John, you're saying both would be great. Well, it's not really a stand down order if you're arrested and charged with literal crimes that you've committed. It's not really how it works. You can't do both. It's one or the other. But I mean, I get your point. He'll stand down by being arrested. Like But yeah, genetically engineering mosquitoes to deliver what? Ticks and mosquito. What is wrong with that guy? Let's see. All right. Micah Parsons, one of the best defensive ends, linebackers, of the Dallas Cowboys, 3-time All-Pro linebacker, traded to the Green Bay Packers. Micah Parsons and the Packers reached an agreement on a 4-year, $188 million contract. $120 million fully guaranteed at signing, making Parsons the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. That is a huge trade. They're saying fresh off his $188 million contract, Micah Parsons posting he's officially getting his mom to retire and stop working. Just saying, like, wasn't he filthy rich prior to this? I don't know. All right. That's all I had on sports. Breaking. President Trump has canceled Kamala Harris's Secret Service protection. Harris is a former vice president, received 6 months of protection after leaving office, according to federal law. That period ended July 21. However, her protection had been extended for an additional year via a directive not made public until now, signed by then President Joe Biden shortly before leaving office, according to multiple people familiar with the undisclosed arrangement. So Kamala Harris' Secret Service detail is done. Speaker Mike Johnson reminds us, 20 years ago today, Hurricane Katrina devastated Louisiana and changed countless lives forever. Yeah, I had recently landed in Los Angeles. I was taking vocal classes. I was on campus at LA. What was it called? I can't think of the name of the school. Los Angeles. It was LACC, Los Angeles Community College. All right, Daniel Price is back. What are you saying to stop? You're not making sense. What are you saying to stop? I have blocked you and banned you, yet you keep commenting. No idea how this is happening. So here, take the fucking show, pal. Look, Brian, little girl, either you stop on your own or I make you. Stop what? Make me how? You think you're being cute or nothing's going to happen by doing the shit again for a reaction, but it's going to get you hurt. Go on. Go on. Stop what? What are you claiming that I'm doing? What are you claiming that I'm doing? You're not making any fucking sense. Hi, Jen Adams. It's so weird. Now I can't really hijacking the show here. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well. Gavin Newsom, everybody. The person the Democrats think is going to win the next election.
Conditions that determine our fate and future. And that fundamental notion of agency, I think, is important more broadly. And I think that goes to some of the issues around, victimization. And I see a lot of that, respectively, on the right, increasingly, even with Trump often approaching things from that sort of mindset. Conditions that determine our fate and future. And that fundamental notion of agency, I think, is important more broadly. And I think that goes to some of the issues around, victimization. And I see a lot of that, respectively, on the right, increasingly, even with Trump often approaching things from that sort of mindset. Conditions that determine our fate and future. And that fundamental notion of agency, I think, is important more broadly. And I think that goes to some of the issues around, victimization. And I see a lot of that, respectively, on the right, increasingly, even with Trump often approaching things from that sort of mindset. Conditions that determine our fate and future. And that fundamental notion of agency, I think, is important more broadly. And I think that goes to some of the issues around, victimization. And I see a lot of that, respectively, on the right, increasingly, even with Trump often approaching things from that sort of mindset.
It's very interesting. Something is wrong. It looks like he's auditioning for a play or something. All right, Tucker Carlson here. Let's read this from the Jewish Policy Center. It's important to understand if Gaza Christians believe Israel will not conduct its war. There's a lot going on here. Let me slow down. Jewish Policy Center puts this out. Important to understand, if Gaza Christians believe Israel will not conduct its war in Gaza City, they are mistaken. They have implanted themselves in a battlefield. They are part of the battle. If they are looking for martyrdom, well, that's in response to Khalil Sayeg saying the churches in Gaza have decided not to evacuate their buildings in Gaza City. Christians are choosing to remain, even if it means risking their lives rather than leaving their churches. Tucker Carlson puts out, just another casual threat to murder Christians. It'd be interesting to know who's associated with the Jewish Policy Center. It'd be even more revealing to know what Ted Cruz, Speaker Mike Johnson, and other self-described Christians in the Congress think of it. Maybe someone will even ask them. How does that make you feel? Do you feel some sort of way about that? Does that bother you? It should. It should bother anybody with a heart. Amuse put this out here, a video that won't load right now. Faraz Pervez. It's not loading. The claim is that in the UK, here's an Islamic migrant in London explaining that the R of an English 12-year-old isn't actually R, as Sharia does not limit the permissible age for S, nor does it confer rights on infidels. Yeah. Well, the video won't play, so I can't discuss it with you. But is it a global security threat? People trying to push Sharia where they can harm people that are not part of their group? Little kids? Got to have a conversation about that. John Lott here, the author of More Guns, Less Crime, says, here's another mass shooting in a gun-free zone. Once again, a mass shooter has struck and the media is refusing to acknowledge that why he chose his target. Like other killers, he openly admitted that he sought out gun-free zones. Adam says, I think about this CIA tweet a lot. In 2018, the CIA put this out and says CIA officers. That's a great word. What do I do there? What's that about? I can't. Oh, okay, there I can. I think. Another moderator? Okay. CIA officers work as scientists, support staff, engineers, economists, linguists, mathematicians, secretaries, accountants, inventors, cartographers, architects, psychologists, police officers, editors, graphic designers, auto mechanics, historians, museum curators, and more. Isn't this a tweet that we should think about a lot? The CIA is everywhere. CNN Climate says Chinese solar is now expanding so fast that by the early 2030s, the country will generate more power from sun than the amount of electricity the U.S. will consume altogether, according to the International Energy Agency, IEA. Concerned citizen says you seriously don't hate the British Labour government enough. Labour chiefs, it's okay to have S with 10-year-olds. Huh? Man, you got a bunch of kid abusers out there. And Europe is not doing a good job handling their business. Andy No says, first Minneapolis, now Massachusetts. Snehal Sasha Srivastava, a radical trans activist, was arrested for murder the day after the trans church mass shooting. Shrewsbury police are refusing to release the name of the suspect. Why? Massachusetts. I haven't even heard about this story. Another trans arrested for another killing one day after Minneapolis mass shooting. C3 says, meet Dr. Dimitri Daskalakis. This guy here. Let's take a look. Oh, okay. Oh. Well then. Okay. He just resigned from the CDC and trashed RFK Jr. on the way out. You know, the CDC that did so well with COVID. Another activist removed from the bureaucracy like a tick. Hashtag winning. Fatima Khan posted this. Says Iraq is legalizing child marriage, lowering the age of consent to just 9. Iraqi women's rights activist risks her life and confronts an imam who sponsored the bill, saying you're following Muhammad, who married a 9-year-old Aisha 1,400 years ago. This is not normal in today's world. You have to have the conversations. Can't let this stuff just go. What does modern society look like? Yeah, Diana Nirazi here says the shooter liked that the school would likely not have counter shooters. It also seems like the kind of school to not arm their teachers. I bet that liberal school does not allow teachers to carry. Now, I don't know. Diana continues, he had a lot of hate for all types of groups, Israelis, blacks, Mexicans, and more. He wrote about torturing dogs, rats, and hamsters and thought about killing his roommates. I don't think I will K them, but I'm about to snap. I think it would be fun to tie them up like we were about to have sex and then tell them my plans as I get my guns and gear ready. I want to see the look of... I don't even want to repeat this stupid shit. It's just as they realize what a monster I am. Yeah. Anyway. He says he needs to pick a target. I know some schools have outdoor recess. You can see tons of students in the playground at once. It's just so gross. My old middle school could be a good option. And it's that one. Probably doesn't have many modern security features. There's also a hallway just before the main entrance that should act. Yeah, I don't, But as John Lott says, this is likely the next senator from Minnesota. Yes. The one right here that C.J. Pearson reminds us is Minnesota's lieutenant governor, showing you a big knife to say protect trans kids. Seems pretty obvious what they're promoting here. Yes, we do need to protect children. We need to protect them from people like her who think mutilating them and sterilizing them and damaging them so they will never be able to establish a real emotional relationship with another person or experience an orgasm or create a child ever again. Yeah, they do need protected from people like you. You heard about what the Defense Department did with JAGs, right?
Do you know what's not being talked about today? The Defense Department has given the U.S. District Attorney of D.C. 20 judge advocate generals. That's JAG, military lawyers, to help with the prosecutions in Washington, D.C. I don't know about you, but it's a fabulous day. Because if you know, well, then you know. Do you know what's not being talked about today? The Defense Department has given the U.S.
So what do you think that means? Judge advocate generals assisting the U.S. district attorneys with prosecutions in D.C. What do you think it means? All right. Well, here's another wimpy white advocating to cuck herself. Sad. Here's a liberal white woman believing that gangs in Chicago would defeat the National Guard.
Well, he's backing down in the Guard into Chicago. Yeah, he's gotten all kinds of backlash about it. And I'm sure his people have told him, look, if you start taking the Guard into Chicago, they're not going to peacefully protest. They're going to fight back. And unless you're ready to deal with that, you better keep your ass out of Chicago. Yeah. Well, he's come out and said that he doesn't want to go where he's not invited, and that even though they're crooked, they've got a crooked governor and crooked mayor and so much crime in that city, he's not going to go unless he's invited. Even though he was just saying all these African-American women in their red hats have been saying, please, sir, please come help us in Chicago with all of our crime. Bullshit. Yeah. But he knows. He knows if he goes in Chicago, it's going to blow up. And he's scared. So, Chicago, you've got excellent pizza. You've got excellent hot dogs. And you've got one scared taco. Good for you. Good for you, Chicago. Hell yeah.
Good luck with that. Yeah, a lot of cities are now ramping up their patrols, getting serious about crime right now. A lot of states. Charlie Kirk reminds us the Democrat Party champions the mental delusions of the few to tyrannize the many. I don't understand the worship of this. Here's Joe Rogan talking about how sorry a state of affairs the Democrats are in. It's bad.
Right. And if you think about the amount of money, just in shuttering U.S. aid, think about the amount of money, whether you agree with U.S. aid or not, the amount of money that was being pumped through that system, to all sorts of weird places, right? There's when the Department of Energy gave out $93 billion in loans in the months between Biden losing, or Kamala losing rather, and Trump taking office. Where's that? There's so many of these instances of insane amounts of money just being allocated while we're $39 trillion in debt. It's it's so unmanageable, and yet it just keeps marching on, and people are upset if you try to pull a Band-Aid off. The idea of shuttering some of these government organizations, all you hear about is people are going to die, people are going to starve, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. Are you fucking sure? Yeah. Are you sure that this isn't a giant money-sucking scam that's been going on that does some good?
Yeah, well, that's
most of it, right?
Yeah, well, number one, if you go, hey, I think, which by the way, no one in Congress, I mean, short of like Thomas Massey, maybe Rand Paul, but like no one else in Congress is even like suggesting an idea so radical. But if I were to throw out the radical idea that we should go back to pre-pandemic level spending, so go all the way back to the crazy year of 2019 when it was anarchy or whatever, that was just, they'll all tell you the world's going to end.
Yeah, the world's going to end. That's what they tell you. Do you know comic Dave Smith? That guy there? He's worth following. He's an interesting guy. He's pretty funny. One of the good comics worth watching. In fact, there I am, meeting with Dave Smith. What did I say? Pushing pragmatism and pushing pragmatism and punditry to the plebeians. What is a plebeian? I wrote it. I don't even know if it's the right. Common people. I was just double checking, making sure. There's comic Dave Smith. Yeah, Dave Smith is worth following. There's my brother, if you don't know who he is. That's on my Brain Stand-Up Instagram. Rest in peace, bro. My name is Inigo Montoya, and Fauci took my brother from me. Prepare for justice. I wanted to show you, I mentioned dancing as Homer Simpson. Who's that? Dave Attell? Hey, I'm wearing the same shirt. I'll find it here. 1 second. That's hilarious. Hey, there's comedian Mitch Hedberg, myself and my brother. I got to meet Mitch before he died. Yeah, everybody met me before I died. Ain't it about time someone said that? Tom Arnold, recently. There I am. Let me add the volume for this. Look at how great this Homer Simpson mask is.
But I never. Hang up. But I never. Hang up.
I feel like I need to just walk through the neighborhood. Myself and my brother. As Homer Simpson. Just to have fun with it. Yeah, dude. Met Mitch Hedberg. It was on a school night too, I think, and we drove 3.5 hours south from Bowling Green to Dayton, Ohio. One of the funniest nights I've ever had. One of the funniest. I mean, it was so good. Anyway. Yeah, Mitch was awesome. I try. I try to go to all the things that I want to. Try to go to all the best things. Yeah, I didn't listen to the whole Dave Smith episode, but actually, if you go back, if you scroll back to the Libertarian Convention, when the hell was that? June of last year in Washington, D.C. I filmed Dave Smith on stage debating Vivek Ramaswamy, and there was a whole bunch of stuff going on. But if you scroll back, you can film me, or you can watch me filming their debate on stage at the Libertarian Convention in Washington, D.C. It's pretty cool. All right, let's continue on. Here's the Cracker Barrel co-founder speaking out.
Logo rolled out the other day.
Oh, that's crazy. That's nothing. That's a bland nothing. It's pitiful.
Do you think she knows the story of Cracker Barrel?
I don't think so. I heard she was a Taco Bell, But what's Taco Bell know about a Cracker Barrel and country food? And the food is something that they need to work on. Spending $700 million to do that is all I've been doing. I'm just throwing money out the street.
Logo.
Yeah. It's sort of thefty, ain't it? Thefty, thefty, thefty. Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy. Thefty, wimpy. Deb, great pic of you and your brother, Brian. Yep. Yeah, it is. It is. I got mad at him the other day for not being here. You know, that's part of the process. Yeah, how you can get mad at someone for, you know, you're more mad at the situation, obviously, but it manifests how it manifests. Unfortunately, I didn't get a picture of Dave Chappelle, unfortunately. I met him a couple times. Yeah, I've sent these screenshots around of this guy that keeps coming around to make threats, and the guy's like, right here in my comments, I don't even understand. Why does this guy hate you? I'm like, I don't know. I keep asking, what is the problem? And he won't answer himself. He just keeps coming back to make threats. And I'm trying to power on, but I'm having one conversation with the Restream chat group. I'm having another conversation with YouTube threat department. I'm having another conversation with this brain trust. We've got FBI conversations going on, law enforcement. Like, you don't come in here and fuck with me. You don't come in and get to just make death threats and get away with it. Like, that's just not a thing. Yes, I am going to plow through. I'm going to pretend it never happened, but it did fucking happen. And it doesn't make sense. As my friend is saying, I don't even understand. Why does this guy hate you? I don't know. Nobody knows. I keep asking. He will not explain himself. But I promise you, I'm not going to sit back and cower or fear. You address a threat head on. You're threatening to come find me and wire my jaw shut, you motherfucker. Like, all right, pal. All right. I didn't ask for this. I didn't want this. But if you bring a problem like this to me, you just made a lifetime enemy, pal. A lifetime enemy. And I punch back. Oh, I will defend the fuck out of myself. And that includes working with every single law enforcement agency from FBI to local that you can imagine. You need to find out who the fuck you are, where you are, and what is going on. Because you come here and claim that I'm lying about autism. Bro, you've never once told me what I'm saying that's incorrect. Because I'm not saying anything. And I'm not saying anything that's incorrect. We had it in the typed out in the description of the show. I put it up again just to see. I don't know how he keeps searching for the word autism to go and yell at people that mention the word. Man, I don't know what to do with that. Actually, I'm going to say that. All right. No, I'm not your punching bag. No, I'm not going to sit here and absorb your bullshit. You can come in and make a coherent point. I'll listen to it. You can come in here and kind of be a moron if you want. Do it mostly respectfully. We have fun with it. We talk about it. This show used to be called the Agree to Disagree Show. We can disagree. I got to take a screenshot of this. Your autism is doing better? Oh, I know. Deb. When I block a motherfucker from multiple accounts, when all of you regulars go on YouTube and block the terroristic threats, the violent threats, the all of the stuff, they should just be banned. I've done this on Restream from 3 different YouTube accounts, and the motherfucker keeps getting back in somehow. So yeah, I'm working this from 100 angles. Everybody, please, if you could, I don't know if you can, if you didn't, make sure you report that guy. Get that account shut down. It might pop up as a new account and come back and find me again. I don't know. But trust me, I'm trying to ignore it. All right. A lot of strange stuff going on indeed, David Bann. A lot of strange stuff indeed. Luke Radowski says, well, hold on. New York Post says dark money group is paying pro-Democrat influencers up to $8,000 a month. Luke Radowski, as seen in our TNAM intro. So Mark Zuckerberg was not only censoring right-wing media, but also secretly financing the left-wing media? Is that correct? Yeah, Zuckerberg ain't your friend. Not our friend, people. Yeah, Zuckerberg, CIA, might be. This is all transcribed, but MAGA Voice reports this. This is Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni exposing Emmanuel Macron for fully supporting the invasion in Europe by illegal aliens. And we said that Europe needs to find their spine. Yeah, agreed. There you go. Micah Parsons traded from Dallas to Green Bay Packers. Wow. Huge move. Didn't see that coming. I thought he was going to re-sign for sure, but he didn't. Elon shared this. Tom Bevan reporting CNN also fails to report that the shooter was trans. When news organizations routinely omit relevant facts about an incident to protect sacred ideological cows, that is not journalism. People don't trust the media for good reason. Elon says CNN is deeply infected with the woke mind virus. Hey, there's Nick. Hi, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick. Guess what? So we asked if this was true, these accusations about the mother's account of the shooter in Minneapolis. The claim appears inaccurate. We said, great context. Can you slap this community note on the post? They later told me, no, you have to do that a different way. I'm like, but if we're asking for context and you give us context that's contradictory, shouldn't that be automatic? Why do I have to click the three button tab and ask for a community note? Help me understand that. But Nick Adams reminds us, careful, Grok hallucinates pretty often compared to other AI. Tread lightly. Well, all AI hallucinates. Agreed. But it is a filter that can sometimes verify or debunk stuff. Yes. Hey, there's a good segue. Stephen King, you know this guy? Jen Adams, do you know this guy? I heard that Stephen King lives somewhere near Lewiston, Maine. Yeah! I'm really feeling those lighters. Yeah! He does live in Maine. I love it. I love it. Deb is like, give me the Tucker Carlson laugh. Jen's like, do the Lewiston, Maine thing. What am I, a clown? Am I funny? Funny like how? Funny like haha? Do I amuse you? Here's your damn shine box. Yeah. Hey, happy to put a chuckle in your demeanor today. I wish I could get Chuckle Fuck to lighten up and laugh a little bit, whatever that guy's problem is. Chuckle Fuck. All right. We know Stephen King is weird, but can anyone make sense of what he's saying here?
I have the heart of a small boy. I keep it in a jar on my desk.
I have the heart of a small boy. I keep it in a jar on my desk.
I have the heart of a small boy. I keep it in a jar on my desk.
I bet you get a lot of mileage out of that.
What's that licking his chops thing? And what's with those buck teeth? Whoa, buddy. Are those teeth or are those comic teeth? Wow. Look at those chompers.
You get a lot of mileage out of that one.
I have never used that line before in my entire life.
Okay.
I have the heart.
I've never used that line before.
Okay. Entire life.
Okay.
I have the heart in my entire life.
And he says, I've never used that line before while crossing his fingers in my entire knife.
In my entire life.
Okay.
One more time. This is one of the guys that's been most outspoken against MAGA and pro. Yeah, banger man. Banger. Hardly knew her. I've had that as a punchline for fucking 20 years and I've never turned it into a joke. Banger. Hardly knew her. I don't know what the setup should be. I just like banger. Hardly knew her. Oh, no. It was banger. Hardly Newark. Newark, New Jersey, in the rough areas, northeast. Banger, hardly Newark. I totally forgot about that joke. All right. That's awesome. But I think maybe the joke is that, like, you cut to a scene. Like, yeah, they had me all going all over. I was up in Massachusetts. I was up in Maine. I was in New Jersey. I was here and there. Comma, something, banger. Hardly Newark. I don't know. It's a kernel of a joke, but I don't know where to take it. Adam Carolla's doing a bit with Jay Moore, doing a reoccurring theme where they, what's it called? Hashing it out or banging it out? Where it's like you're having multiple jokes that you've been working on for a long time. And you're trying to hash out the joke. You're trying to make it funny. But this is one of the weirdest clips. Shadow of Ezra. What did Stephen King just say?
I have the heart of a small boy. I keep it in a jar on my desk.
I bet you get a lot of mileage out of that one.
I have never used that line before in my entire life.
Okay.
Super weird. But he's been one of the biggest advocates of the deep state. Wonder if he's done some really creepy stuff that they have held over his head so that he can, work as a useful idiot. They got you on blackmail, so you're just going to give them what you want. Here's Scott Presler. By the way, you can check out my interview with Scott Presler, The Persistence. He says he helped defeat Hillary Kamala and organize the Baltimore cleanup. We delivered Pennsylvania for President Trump. We interviewed him in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, asking if parents allow their minor children to transition, are they also at fault when they do something like that? I mean, that's one of those slippery slope questions. Not a particularly easy one to answer. But I really think you need to be protecting these kids until they're 18 and then they get to make their decisions. I think it's child abuse to do anything else. Speaking of child abuse, let's look at a 14-year-old kid finding out that, guess what? There's finally consequences in Washington, D.C. Let's see how he's handling it.
What did I do, fool? Somebody record this.
There's music, though, and can I play this?
What did I do? What did I do?
How old are you?
I feel like there's music, and I don't want to get dinged for this. They ask him.
What did I do?
He around the
What
corner.
did I do? I'm calling my mother. I
How old
can stop.
Oh, I think that might have been music from the car passing.
I'm calling my mother. I
How old
can
are
stop.
you?
I'm only 14. What the fuck?
Huh? What's up?
What the fuck? I'm real 14, bro. Let go of me.
14-year-old learns the hard way. There's now consequences in D.C. All right, so Fauci is, let's go get him. On behalf of let's go get him. Fauci under federal investigation for perjury and funneling millions to the Wuhan lab. Tulsi says the Department of Justice is closing in. Oh, for the love of God. Can we please just get this done already? DNI Gabbard confirmed Anthony Fauci is officially under federal investigation for perjury and covering up the true origin of COVID. And the truth is finally spilling out. Fauci lied to Congress about funding gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab. Fauci covered up COVID's origins and censored dissenting scientists. Fauci's infamous 6 feet apart rule wasn't science at all. They literally just made it up. Fauci funneled your taxpayer dollars into dangerous biolabs while enriching Big Pharma. Tulsi says this is the biggest political scandal since Russiagate, and the trail leads straight into the Biden administration. This isn't just about Fauci, it's about accountability for the people who weaponize science to strip away our freedoms, silence Americans, and profit off a pandemic. It's 7 minutes, so please check it out. Luke Radowski again, reminding us the Federal Reserve is not your friend. This post says, I'm poorer than 10 years ago despite earning 2 times more. Okay, so in 2013, I was earning around $2,200 a month. With this money, I could afford a mid-level apartment, a car, groceries, a big vacation once a year. And by the end of the month, I still had like $300 left to save or spend as I saw fit. Now I'm earning around $4,000 a month. I had to move to a low-level apartment, drive the same car that I bought in 2013, buy 20 to 30% less groceries. Vacations have been reduced to a small trip once a year, and by the end of the month, I have perhaps $100 left. This doesn't seem right. If this continues, I will be basically homeless, even if I earn $6,000 a month in 10 years. They are stealing our money through inflation. And the Federal Reserve has no business operating in America. It's our currency. We don't answer to other people. 1913 was an abomination, and it needs to be undone. Period. End of story. All right. Minneapolis school shooter openly confessed he was tired of being trans and wished that he had never brainwashed himself. The left will remain silent about this. Quote, I only keep the long hair because it is pretty much my last shred of being trans. I am tired of being trans. I wish I never brainwashed myself. This McAfee news, they've put stuff out here before that hasn't been accurate, but they're saying Border Patrol is seizing thousands of FEMA relief packages scattered around the southern border. They were left there by the Biden admin to feed illegals as they crossed. Let me share this and ask Grok, is this verified or debunked? I feel like this is something that would not be accurate. Candace Owens is talking about this person. This person was created by a doctor. They are the fruits of a deep state military experiment that has been going on since the 1960s. That is why all these shooters are exactly like the ones before. It is a factory. Ugh. Protect the kids. American AF says liberals are losing their minds because the state of Florida keeps washing away their rainbow chalk crosswalks every night. Actually, that's another one. I will quote it and say, I'll just look in for Grok. Is this video recent and from Florida? And does the text from American AF accurately depict the video? Because you see stuff like this and you see like reports or quips or notes, but like, is this actually what's going on? I don't know, but I'm curious. Gunther says the left has lost its way. There's Kathy Hochul, JB Pritzker, and Gavin Newsom. Leave our crime alone. Hey, Donald. Leave our crime alone. Although Kathy Hochul has said the judges are not accurately representing what the law is stating, and they want the judges to keep the bad guys away. She said that 2 days ago. We played that clip from Kathy Hochul. Gavin Newsom, we just shared, he's flexing more troops. So did he say CHP? But he's adding extra troops to areas of California that need help with their law enforcement. So it looks like 2 of the 3 from New York, Illinois, and California, they've acquiesced. They've read the writing on the walls. They see that 95% of people don't want to be terrorized by 1% of the monsters that are just going to constantly cause problems for everybody else. Let's play Mayor Jacob Frey of Minneapolis.
Those families are suffering immense pain right now. Think of this as if it were your own. Every one of us needs to be wrapping our arms around these families, giving them every ounce that we can muster. These were Minneapolis families. These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance. These are the sort of basic assurances that every family should have, every step of the day, regardless of where they are in our country.
So he says that. The response to that, who put that out? Jesse Kelly says, let me explain why the communists are escalating everything right now. Why they went from quietly scoffing at your prayers to flat out yelling at you for praying. Why they seem to be doubling down on everything that has made them unpopular. They're doubling down. Communists create symbols for their herd animal followers, symbols to worship, George Floyd, Fauci, etc., and symbols to hate, symbols to blame. Donald Trump has been the central hate symbol for 10 years now. Day after day of the Nazi Putin talk probably hasn't swayed you at all, but you're not a mentally broken Democrat. That daily propaganda does work on them. It's almost spiritual for them at this point. Trump is a devil and everything he does is evil. Now, for why the language and history are escalating, poll after poll of Democrat voters show they're angry with their party. You know what they're angry about? That Democrats aren't fighting Trump hard enough. So in a time when Democrats should try to appear to be normal to all the normies, they're turning the crazy up instead of down, because the voters they programmed are now demanding an all-in fight against the devil. That's why you see every Democrat from Gavin Newsom to some rando city councilman talk about fighting Trump harder. They're all playing to the demonic base that's demanding more. This is an extremely dangerous place to be as a country. Their base is as angry and demonic as ever while the leaders feel the need to speak to that. All it takes is one tranny who cut his penis off and wants to die to hear these words and march for blood. That's all. This post: it must be hard to be a Democrat these days. You have to support corruption, crime, domestic terrorism, promoting violence, excusing pedophilia and rape and assault, and support war and opposing free speech, and supporting boys and girls sports and locker rooms, and support chemically or surgically altering children to try to change their sex. You have to kill babies up until birth and despise Christians, Christianity, and Judaism, love high taxes, be against good health, support gun control and propaganda, support election cheating, and want open borders. In other words, you have to hate America. This is what the Democrats have created. And it's because they're losing. Stacy says, I think it's because they're losing. That's it. They've all been exposed and their numbers are dropping like crazy, and their hate has been eating them alive for years. I told you about Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou talking with Dave Chappelle in the Iconoclast series. Dave asks her, Maya, you fought in the civil rights movement and you have been a part of all these things. Why is it? Why is it that, well, I think he asked her, he said, well, aren't you angry? She said, no, David. He says, well, why can't you be, why aren't you angry if you lived through all that? She said, David, of course I was angry. And of course I'm not going to forget, but I can't carry around that anger, because anger, that hatred, it's a poison, David. It does nothing to the object I'm angry at, but the longer I hold it, the sicker I become. No, I'll never forget it. And yes, it made me angry, but I'm not still carrying the anger because it would destroy me. And that's a message a lot of people need to hear. Anger is a poison that will kill you the longer you hold on to it. A spiritual war that we are in. The devil is a master of lies and deception. The reason Democrats are so quiet is because Trump defeated them morally, not just politically. But it's all the Democrats have had for so long. Trump bad, Orange Man bad, over and over. Like, do you have anything else? Do you have anything else to offer? All right, what is this here? Amuse says, collusion? What if I told you that Arlington, Texas Mayor Jim Ross was caught on a YouTube video with more than 10 million views, engaged in a vulgar attack on a Christian pastor during LGB Pride event, but the drive-by media in North Texas refused to mention it? Do they have a clip of the video? They don't. But it's being reported. Check it out. Mayor Jim Ross in Texas, Arlington, Texas. Vince Langman says, in case you forget what a POS scumbag the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, truly is, this is him crying like a schoolgirl over the casket of a career criminal street thug who died from a drug overdose in 2020. Adam Carolla says, to be fair to him, he doesn't give a shit about the drug addict. He just thinks he can get dumb black people to vote for him. And wimpy white people, wimpy whites that run the Democrat Party. Yeah, Deb, that's right. That's why Jesus taught forgiveness. Yeah, forgiveness is tough. Officer Brandon Tatum asked the new media question today, and he nailed it on crime in Chicago. Yes, thank you, John, for sending a message out to Carolyn Levitt, our press secretary. And if anybody else wants to, tag John Boy. John Boy wrote a nice message to Carolyn Levitt asking that we get our press credentials as new media in the White House press room. We have been credentialed at Republican conventions, libertarian conventions, and we've covered all sorts of events for 15 years. We're exactly what the new media seats are for. But he's talking about crime. He knows a thing or two about crime.
With these shootings, and the second thing is Chicago. You know, anybody with a connected brainstem knows that Chicago's crime is out of control. And young black men are getting killed, laying dead in the middle of the streets every single day in Chicago. No president has addressed any of these issues. And so what is the White House going to do to address issues in their capacity to deal with the conflict and violence in Chicago?
Sure. Well, to your first question about this shooting in Minnesota, right now, the administration is focused on helping the people of Minnesota. It's been less than a day, of course, since this tragedy happened. We have federal law enforcement on the ground assisting local law enforcement. This investigation is ongoing. There's still a lot of facts to understand about these circumstances, and so we're going to continue to do that. As for Chicago and cracking down on crime, it is a priority of this administration to ensure that American cities are safe again, and I'm so glad that you brought up the crime in Chicago, because we've been seeing the governor of Illinois parading out there saying that there's nothing wrong with Chicago. It's a great place to live. There's no crime there. He doesn't need President Trump's help. Well, I think the residents of Chicago beg to differ, and the statistics beg to differ. And I'll just share a few of those statistics with all of you. For 13 consecutive years, Chicago has had the most murders of any U.S. city. This is J.B. Pritzker's legacy, by the way. For 7 consecutive years, Chicago has had the highest murder rate among U.S. cities with more than 1 million people. In 2024, just last year, Chicago's murder rate per capita was 3 times higher than Los Angeles and nearly 5 times higher than New York City. That's more than double the murder rate in Islamabad and nearly 15 times more than Delhi.
Yeah, that's a mess. It's time to clean up these cities for sure. Roger Stone says if we make having guns criminal, only criminals will have guns. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, after yesterday's shooting, says we need a statewide and federal ban on assault weapons. It's such a dumb term. Use a baseball bat and it's an assault bat. Use a shovel, it's an assault shovel. Use a spoon, it's an assault spoon. There's no such thing as an assault weapon. It's so stupid to repeat stuff like that. But it's all the Democrats have. The only thing that ever stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, period. And we said this is why people have completely turned their backs on Democrats. No, we will not disarm so lunatics can destroy us. Never. Libs of TikTok put this out and says Allison Bergner, an administrator at North Alabama, refuses to give a comment after she admitted on hidden camera that her university is secretly pushing DEI in violation of Trump's executive order and state law. Is this you in the video talking about it right here? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. She says she's sorry. She can't comment on anything. They're still pushing their divisive racism. Here's another. Ian Jager said another resignation at the CDC. Yeah, the CDC doesn't get to lie like they used to. They don't get to push all their propaganda for profit anymore. There's a different ideology. In Health and Human Services now. Deb says, I like it when Carolyn opens a can of whoop-ass. Kenneth, you're here all week. Hey, try the steak. Try the veal. Hey. Love it. But yeah, there's a lot of turnover now. Chief Medical Officer Deborah Howery has resigned at the CDC. Here's a conversation about about gender dysphoria.
I ask you, what kind of person would commit a mass shooting at a back-to-school mass filled with children?
Well, obviously a very sick, mentally ill person who ended up taking his own life. But I just, as a mama bear, I don't know. When you just played that sound, that from that little boy, that just broke my heart because no child should have to go through that. But I'm also thinking of the shooter and the fact that a confused kid at some point in his life was talked into becoming a transgender and changing his name and being encouraged to change his identity because society and culture and family and people he probably trusted when he was confused and not sure where to go were telling him to do that. This is a sick and twisted cultural situation that has got to be eradicated. And we need to really come down hard on any adult who is encouraging a child to try to change their gender. There's no such thing as a transgender child. This is a made-up thing that is causing severe mental illness. And I mean, then they put the kids on hormones and all kinds of drugs which exacerbate anxiety.
I mean, your hormones are so delicate to begin with. Tiny changes in hormones can make massive changes. Huge swings of emotion, huge, like lifelong personality changes. Just pumping people through hormones that do not belong in their body is super reckless.
Anxiety and depression, it's a recipe for disaster. We've seen it play out again and again and again, David. And this is the reason we're seeing this kind of violence play out. And it's got to be stopped. And the adults need to be held accountable, whether it's a high school counselor, whether it's a parent who's pushing it on their children. We've all seen those videos of moms or adults in the lives of these children who are pushing this transgenderism on these kids. It is sick.
And it's Munchausen by proxy. It's the wimpy whites mainly. This stuff isn't really happening in a lot of other communities. It's I'd be very curious, actually. I'd be very curious as to the statistics, as to which races, which demographic groups are going along with the gender dysphoria stuff. I don't know if it's happening. I would hypothesize that it's happening more in the wimpy white Democrat community than anybody else. The people that have just been smacked with a ruler so many times. You're bad because you're white. You're bad because you're in America. You're bad because you're successful. You're bad because of what people did years ago. You're bad because other people don't have it as good. You're bad. And it's just like they just break down. And then when they're, my kid's confused by the purple-haired teacher that says everybody can change who they are. And then I need to go along with it or else I'll be called a bad name and I do whatever I'm told. Grow a spine, wimpy whites. But I'm very curious, which demographics are doing more of this to harm these kids who need protection from the wimpy whites, who need protection from the Munchausen mommies. It's really bad.
They're mentally ill, and we have to stop pushing this on our kids. It's beyond just horrible. I have no words tonight for what happened.
Yeah, it does. It just takes your breath away. And to think about the parents that don't have their two little, their little babies tonight. It's just
babies tonight, I know.
It's heartbreaking.
And what
and
these
it
other
should
ones
not
have gone
be.
through. It makes you want to hug your kids, whether they're 30 or 20 or 10. But we can fix this. We can stop with this nonsense. We don't have to push this woke agenda. It's really a woke agenda that has pushed this transgenderism. When you and I were kids, nobody in high school or junior high that was a boy was trying to tell people they were a girl. This is a new phenomenon. It's being pushed by some very, very sick individuals, and it's got to stop. And they're pushing our children into doing terrible surgeries and getting on terrible drug protocols. And it's really messing with their minds, and it's hurting society.
So, do you agree or disagree with Carrie Lake? Here's the full interview with Roger Stone. He was one of the most recognizable political strategists in America. Then before dawn, on July 25, 2019, the FBI surrounded his Florida home with armored vehicles, helicopters, and frogmen. While CNN cameras rolled, he says prosecutors told him he could die in prison unless he agreed to testify against Donald Trump. Instead, Stone refused, endured what he calls a show trial, and lost nearly everything. Now he reveals how the justice system was weaponized against him. Important interview. Watch it. Megyn Kelly on Tulsi's Russian asset hoax. Quote, this was started by Hillary Clinton. She started it because Tulsi was a rising star within the Democrat politics. And they didn't like it. They didn't like it. And now she's getting payback. Because payback is justice. Based on, all the Democrats do is lie. They just throw lie after lie after lie at you. Put up the top 30 issues from the past 5 years, 10 years. Tell us, what did the Democrats get right? Or what didn't go right? Joe Hoft here. I interviewed his brother, Jim Hoft, from Gateway Pundit in Milwaukee. Check out that interview. It's on Rumble and YouTube. So they have a breaking exclusive interview with Tina Peters from prison. Say we can't back down, can't give up, and can't give in. And Roger Stone says free Tina Peters and jail Merrick Garland. It's just a mess. Hey, here's an ABC guy that finally breaks through and tells you a little bit of truth.
23-year-old Robin Westman was able to leave what police called a video manifesto that they're now going through to try and establish motive. We've also been going through it and can tell you there are crude diagrams of the church. There are also photos of the weapons, and they include all sorts of writings, the names of past mass shooters, criticism of Israel, the name of President Trump written on the guns. There are also racial slurs, nihilistic statements, all painting the picture of a disturbed individual who carried out this mass shooting on the first week of school at the Annunciation Church in Minneapolis.
Yeah, ABC News correspondent Aaron Katersky finally breaks through, becoming the first broadcast network correspondent to tell viewers on air, not the streaming platforms, about the YouTube video posted by the alleged shooter. Yeah, they're trying to hide stuff. Scott Jennings talking about the children again.
Well, I think the first question you have to ask is, why did it happen? I don't think it happened because of guns. I think it happened because somebody who was clearly suffering from severe mental illness
had access to weapons that would allow them to carry out a terrible shooting.
And the mental illness was encouraged.
But Scott, what about people who don't have mental illness?
I don't think we can tiptoe around this issue. And when you look at the messages that were written in some of the materials and on the weapons that we've seen, I mean, this person obviously was in a dark place.
Obviously.
And I want to know,
obviously.
I'm not sure the government is in that person's life enough to know, but his parents are.
But what
his
about,
family is.
Scott, what about people who don't have mental illness? We have a huge gun violence issue here in the United States. We lead in gun violence.
But the issue today is quite obviously.
Yeah, please stop using the word gun in that. We have a problem with violence.
Mental illness and
mental illness.
If you take away the mental illness, it still leaves the guns.
Well, I think the first question you have to ask is,
it's just the Democrats have no solutions to stuff. Hey, there's evil out there, so make sure that you're disarmed. No thanks. That's not how we're going to do things. Hey, remember, take a look at this. We're talking about Soros, and Joe Biden gave Soros the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and President Trump is going to hit Soros with RICO. What a doggone difference an election can make.
And countless others around the world. Educated in England, he settled in America as he became
researcher and philanthropist supporting
philanthropist. A Washington, D.C. news reporter revealed a disturbing truth in Union Station. Take a listen.
Adam, good morning. And this morning, we want to give you an inside look. We are inside the main atrium here at Union Station. My opinion, it looks cleaner than it has in years, but there are still some vacant spaces that are ready to be leased. Take a look. This is actually where that press conference was held yesterday. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announced the Department of Transportation is retaking direct control of this Union Station. The department has owned the historic building since the 1980s. But much of the daily management was handed off to Amtrak and the Union Station Redevelopment Corporation. Now, officials say upgrades are badly needed. Adam, good morning. And this morning,
upgrades badly needed, running things into the ground. You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene out there talking about during the pandemic what the medical establishment was doing, which was fucking criminal. And people died because they lost access to healthcare.
But then there were doctors that came out with treatments using ivermectin, zinc, vitamin D, and it was labeled horse paste. And those doctors were attacked and criticized and called conspiracy theorists. Yet while those doctors were actually saving lives, these other patients were being forced into the hospital, put on respirators, and were actually dying. My own personal doctor never lost one single patient by prescribing ivermectin and this other protocol. As a matter of fact, he saved people's lives. Thank God he did that. The CDC even changed the definition of vaccine. The FDA approved an experimental vaccine through this, but then there were
a lot of people were lied to. All right, so here you go. What do you say?
Why can't I exist as my true self right now?
That's not your true self, that's why.
This! You don't think this is my true fucking self? What the fuck is your true self? You fucking ignorant piece of shit! Is your true self being a little fucking pussy who's shorter and feels it?
I hear music though.
Dying down, you would go.
I gotta stop playing it because it's music. But watch this. It's a minute of WTF. Alex reports Black Lives Matter sign outside Minneapolis trans shooter's home has been blurred from Google Street View after being discovered by InfoWars. Despite the corporate media going into overdrive to cover up facts surrounding the shooter, the manipulations are failing. I guarantee you that was Google AI covering up Black Lives Matter. Super woke household, encouraging the kid to destroy himself. Convincing him he can become something that he can never become. That's right from the mother. The mother signed off on this kid trying to change his name into a different sex. You just, that doesn't work. And the mom is supposed to be the adult. But clearly, the mother. You know, I don't want to pile on. But the mother failed her family, failed her kid. By believing any of this gobbledygook. James Fishback reminds us that Lisa Cook of the Federal Reserve private banking cartel that's devaluing your currency day by day took out 2 mortgages on 2 homes in 2 states in the same 2-week period, claiming both were her primary residence. That was a big fat lie. It's called mortgage fraud. Even the Federal Reserve warned in 23 research report that this type of mortgage fraud threatens the U.S. housing market. And that's why she was fired. Now she's trying to claim that she can't be fired. Cool story, bro. Good luck with that. All right. Do you have an In-N-Out burger near you? Will you go shopping there now?
Really don't like that it put a Bible verse on my food without my consent. I don't want to eat John 3:16. Get your John 3:16 out of here.
Why is there music? Don't play fucking music. God. Bless America. You play 5 seconds of music and the video will Anyway, they put John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. So there you go. Hey, football has started. We got college tomorrow. Buckeyes play Texas. We're going to be doing a live stream. Join us for that. We'll be watching the game and commenting live. Deb saying, Brian just goes to prove that not everyone should procreate. Not everyone should be a parent. Yeah. Apparently so. That was apparently so. I went to school with someone named apparently so. Anyway, talking to Deion Sanders about Colorado football. This is kind of funny.
Is there anything about Folsom, about this stadium that surprised you, that you didn't expect?
Yeah. The smell of weed in the second quarter, man, it surprised the heck out of me. Like every game, I'm like, dang, like it seems like it's like a light up quarter. You know what I'm saying? Like, so is this the quarter that y'all?
It's the light up quarter.
Y'all chose? Like, I'm serious. It's a TV timeout. It never fails, and I'm like, wow, what's going on? Because I've never been high a day of my life, so that's kind of new to me.
That's a Boulder essential, I guess.
Yeah, truly.
Is there anything about Folsom?
So that's kind of funny. Nick Sorter says, check out what the Minneapolis police chief says. Tell me if you think something's off here.
And is there any kind of mental health diagnosis that
Is there any kind of mental health diagnosis
anyone is aware of?
There's no diagnosis that I'm aware of that I can share. I can tell you we are not aware of any state-ordered mental health commitments for this individual.
Chief, could you talk?
Not aware, claiming they refused to admit that he was a mentally ill man who thought he was a woman. Tim Walz's Minnesota is, of course, attempting to cover up trans violence, and the FBI must expose it. Man, Minnesota. It's just, it's almost indescribable how some of these places have changed. This appears to maybe be fake, but it's still kind of funny. And maybe it's not fake. The sign appears to be hijacked. And if you watch the pothole, holes, and asshole. Kind of funny. All right. Let's take a listen to HHS discussing the Catholic school shooting.
And we're still trying to get a lot of answers to a ton of questions. But the one thing is clear, you are dealing with a person who's trans, that was transitioning. Are you going to be examining at all some of the drugs that are used in order to make that transition happening, to see if it plays a role? Because we also know there was a trans shooter in the Tennessee situation.
Yeah, we are doing those kind of studies now at NIH. We're launching studies on the potential contribution of some of the SSRI drugs and some of the other psychiatric drugs that might be contributing to violence. You know, many of them on there have black box warnings that warn of suicidal ideation and homicidal ideation. So,
and this stuff has been reported and widely known for decades.
we can't exclude those as a culprit, and those are the kind of studies that we're doing.
So I've never seen that medicine, but you're saying that if you get it, some of the side effects could be homicide, suicide?
Yeah, violent ideation.
Suicide?
Well, there are black box warnings on some of these psychiatric drugs.
The SSRIs, the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. It's been widely reported for decades. Ignored by the lying legacy media who get most of their funding from Big Pharma. So they don't want to cut into profits, so they never talk about it. Maybe occasionally. Not anymore.
That warn about in their clinical trials that they saw suicidal and homicidal ideation. So, we are going into that with an open mind.
And that's how you're supposed to do it. Go in with an open mind and discover what the facts say. Nick Sorter says, yeah, they're launching studies. Hold on, okay, that's the end of that. Laura Logan says, finally, well done, RFK Jr. It starts with Ritalin and Adderall given to 5 and 6-year-old kids whose brains are still developing, whose growth is stunted by a lack of appetite, and whose personalities are forever altered. Just ask any neuroscientist. They all know. And don't waste your time on pediatricians, educational psychologists, therapists, or your own general practitioner. They are not medically qualified for this. They can tell you about symptoms, but not the cause or the long-term effects. It starts with a neuropsychiatrist and goes up from there if you're looking to get good information. NBC reporters trying to spin the firing of ex-CDC director Susan Monarez. So how does Carolyn Levitt handle this?
First, on the firing of the CDC director, who will replace her? And then also, overnight, the White House said that she did not align with the president's agenda. Dr. Monarez's attorneys say that she refused to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives and fired dedicated health experts. What specifically did she do wrong?
Look, what I will say about this individual is that her lawyer's statement made it abundantly clear themselves that she was not aligned with the president's mission to make America healthy again. And the secretary asked her to resign. She said she would, and then she said she wouldn't, so the president fired her, which he has every right to do. It was President Trump who was overwhelmingly reelected on November 5th. This woman has never received a vote in her life, and the president has the authority to fire those who are not aligned with his mission. A new replacement will be announced by either the president or the secretary very soon, and the president and Secretary Kennedy are committed to restoring trust and transparency and credibility to the CDC by ensuring their leadership and their decisions are more public-facing, more accountable, strengthening our public health system, and restoring it to its core mission of protecting Americans from communicable diseases, investing in innovation to prevent, detect, and respond to future threats. That's the mission of the CDC, and we're going to make sure that folks that are in positions of leadership there are aligned with that mission.
Good. Wall Street Apes reporting the chief financial officer for the state of Florida. Oh, he's got an update. Goodness.
I think it is very apparent that taxpayers deserve and have a right to know where their money is being spent. Now, I'm probably freaking out a lot of Orange County employees right now. My advice to you is when you are contacted and when you're going to be interviewed, do not hide the information. Be truthful with them. We know that people above you told you to go and change the information in an effort to try to hide the information from us. Don't lie to us, because if we have to, we will bring in FDLE and digital forensic units to find out exactly who did what. When I took office, I promised that I was going to be a fiscal pit bull when it comes to spending. I think we're proving here today and continue what we're doing every day that we are rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, and I'm going to continue to hold those promises. I mean every word that I say. If local governments hear my voice, and if they thought me issuing subpoenas, investigative subpoenas, were just a throwaway, sort of like a threat to local governments, well, Orange County fooled around, and now they're about to find out.
So they're going to find out. Money laundering, fraud, investigations, subpoenas, goodness. So here's a whole thread from Vigilant Fox discussing SSRIs and other drugs that could be potentially fueling a wave of violence. Check that one out. Crumble cookie full of all sorts of chemicals disguised as a cookie, claims concerned citizen. Check that one out. Yeah, there's Cash's update. It's more of the shooter. How much am I supposed to talk about the shooter? All right, comedian Jim Brewer, who we saw in Nashville at the Bobby Kennedy event, He's going to discuss what Richard Gage and the architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth have to say about that horrific attack 25 years ago.
Here's where people don't use just your own thinking. The buildings went straight down. Everyone knows that. Demolition. And what's the excuse that everyone says? Well, it's because it was so hot. Think about that. It was so hot that the beams just melted. So let me ask you this. Before they collapsed and the fire was so hot that it melted steel, what were the human beings doing 5-10 feet above them in the walls, waving scarves for their lives? How are they not burnt?
Jeez.
So it only, the heat rises. Common sense would tell you heat rises. But this heat melted downward, and they just, but the people on top, help! Help!
Man. Yeah. All right. So yeah, CDC director is leaving the post. Brian Cates says, pay attention. The globalist regime that's been in control of our federal government for a very long time now is being forced out into the open. You're going to spend the next couple of weeks watching people loudly insist that they cannot be fired by the president. These are some of the crucial people who make the cult system go. They cannot allow themselves to be replaced by Trump's people. Expect more mass shootings and organized riots to attempt to stop this and distract you from it. Oh, good grief. That's troubling. Potentially. Eric Daughtry says Democrat Fed Governor Lisa Cook, Letitia James, and Hunter Biden are all using the same lawyer. FHFA Director Bill Pulte, who caught Lisa Cook and Big Tish on mortgage fraud, says no comment. Scott Adams wonders who's paying the lawyer. Follow the money. Kash Patel uncovered a hidden room in the Hoover building where authorities discovered 7 burn bags in hard drives containing thousands of documents linked to Russiagate. I'm just kind of interested in the stuff that was left behind. Was it left by good guys or was it left by bad guys to steer us in different directions? I don't know, and the jury's still out on that. I'm very curious about the burn bags. Also, what do you say about this with nicotine? If any of you been nicotine consumers in your day, in your time?
I've seen these little tins popping up everywhere. Inside are small white tobacco-free nicotine pouches you place between your gum and lip as a smoke-free, spit-free alternative to tobacco, and HHS Secretary Kennedy says they may be the best alternative to cigarettes. Watch.
Nicotine itself does not cause cancer. There's no evidence that it's carcinogenic. Nicotine pouches are probably the safest way to consume nicotine. Vapes are second, but the thing that we really want to get away from is cigarettes.
And Kennedy sees a need to save Americans from the more than $600 billion in cigarette smoke-related health costs, ultimately saving lives. Kennedy sparked speculation of being a supporter of Zyn back in January when he appeared to pop one in his mouth during his confirmation hearing. But the FDA is not on board. They have not approved nicotine pouches as a smoking alternative, while the CDC has a warning on their website saying this: there are no safe tobacco products, including nicotine pouches. This is especially true for youth, young adults, and women who are pregnant. And the CDC says Simply, more research is needed to better understand the short and long-term health effects of using nicotine pouches.
I mean, nicotine has been shown in many studies to help you focus, to help you work. Caffeine and nicotine have had a lot of positive things, but like it's the distribution system of the smoke and the tar and the other things. Kissing a smoker is like licking an ashtray. Gross. Hey, there you go, Nick, in the chat room. Nick was a teen. No nicotine for you. All right, how do I get off? There we go. Get rid of that. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah. John used to dip Red Man in chewing tobacco when I was a little fart, early teens. Yeah, I did it for a little bit myself. No longer. And that is what I wanted to share with you today. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Ooh. Follow us in all the places. Be back again tomorrow. See, here's the thing about tomorrow now. Tomorrow at noon is when the Buckeyes play, and I'm going to be live streaming. So do I go earlier and do a show earlier to cover the news and then maybe roll it into or stop one and then do the next stream? I would say keep your eyes peeled. I might try to do a show in the morning, maybe 9 or 10 or 11, and then wrap and then launch the show at noon. Although the noon show, I might want to launch a half hour early to let everyone settle in. But the live streams for the games tend to do well, and I do want to set up shop earlier. So, yeah, maybe check out 10 o'clock, 9:30 or 10:30 at the latest, probably. If there's a lot to talk about, I'm going to do a show tomorrow. If not, I'm going to be jumping right into the live stream of the Buckeyes Texas game. Brian is not a smoker. I do not smoke cigarettes. I do not smoke cigarettes. Used to, but like something about smoking did help me. I don't know. I was in college. I was in high school. I was in college, post-college, but I haven't in a very long time. But there's something. I don't know if it's just the routine of just the act of doing the smoking that made you think, or like it was actually the nicotine that was helping kind of complete the workflow. I don't know. But after considering some of the effects that nicotine can have, some of the good effects. Go Texas. No, yeah, go Texas. Go away, Texas. What? I know you're in Texas, so you're allowed to do that. I don't need your permission. I can root for Texas if I want to root for Texas. No, I'm not doing a Marion impression. That was every Texas fan. No, I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of everyone like you. No, I do not smoke cigarettes. Sometimes I miss it, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I want one right now. I actually do have a bit of a stack. I have a couple in my car, in the ashtray. I have a couple in my garage. I'll bum a cigarette sometime. Like when it hits me, and it's like the frying pan moment, then you're like, blah, 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 blah. Things are spinning. Not really spinning. I'm just like, I really want a cigarette that someone's having. I'll grab one. I'll put one in my fingers. I'll maybe take a deep breath. I'll maybe put it behind my ear. I'll just The smell of a cigarette that's unlit is fantastic. It's almost like tobacco leaves have a raisiny smell. Almost like the red man chewing tobacco, like you're talking about, John. It has the pouch has a smell of like raisins. It's sweet and I just had a nicotine-gasm. But yeah, it's wired into my head. Once you've been a smoker, you're kind of locked in there. Cloves are okay. Yeah, cloves. I've had cloves from time to time. But yeah, I don't know. Nicotine. Would I try a pouch? Only if Bobby Kennedy says it's okay. Well, to be fair, Brian, I wasn't really saying everybody should go out and have the nicotine pouches. What I was saying, rather, was that if you happen to be a current tobacco smoker, you are ingesting a lot of tar and carcinogens that could damage your lungs, your throat, and your mouth, etc. I'm just saying that the Zins might be better than that. I'm not saying everybody should go out and have them. Okay, thank you for the clarification, Bobby. I appreciate your time. Yeah, cherry pipe tobacco does smell. Oh, man. Yes, it does. And I will say I did have a cigar the other night. Okay, so I guess that was smoking. It was... And I think, honestly, I'm not a cigar purist, and I don't like have lots of them. A couple a year, maybe. And I only smoke half of them anyway. This one I've probably had in my garage. I don't even remember how long. But it was like in a hanging out environment, and cigarettes were being smoked. And it was like, well, because when I'm done with a long cigar, I'll clip the end off and I'll just save the rest for later. That one cigar could last me for 2 years, 3-4 years. Like I don't smoke cigars per se. But I did have a little bit of that one the other night, I'll admit. I will say that. Your grandpa used to smoke cherry tobacco. Yeah. And I had cherry chewing tobacco. Man, now all this talk about tobacco, now I'm thinking like, I want to go get some. It's right at the corner. I should go get some. But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna do other things. So I'm gonna go do other things. You do other things. Thank you all for being here on the TNAM Daily Show, a division of the Agree to Disagree Show. That's our podcast. Please subscribe to our podcast on Spotify and Apple, whatever it's called. It wasn't a white lie. I forgot about it. I literally forgot. Because I forgot I even had that cigar until the other night. And I was like, And I mean, it was hot. It was small. It was like down to the nub. I was like, okay. Yep. All right. Really, a couple of puffs. And I'm not even inhaling, but, I did not inhale. I might have smoked, but I did not inhale. I got to work on my Clinton and my Bush. Got to work on my Bush. All right, no more jokes. Thank you all for being here. We'll be back tomorrow for sports at noon. Join us. And then maybe I'll try to do the news early. I think that'll be my tentative game plan. Look for me at 10, 10:15, 10:30, maybe to do like a quick hour show. And then I'll pause, relaunch the sports show, and then we'll go live. Try to get Izzy in for the watch party if he's available. We'll see. Got to text out to him. All right. Final reminder to everybody, follow us in all the places. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen, the New American Media exists on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odysee, Twitch Kick, DLive, and YouTube under the New American Media. Telegram and Signal, we're TNAM and TNAM Chat. We're on X at American_Media_, and of course, the Agree to Disagree Show is our Spotify podcast and our Apple iTunes podcast, the Agree to Disagree Show that has the TNAM Daily Show in it. Please consider signing up on Patreon to be a regular monthly contributor. It is the almost the end of the month. So that's going to bill in a couple of days, and that helps fund our project. Man, oh man. Got another one. What was it? Yeah, I got another $200 bill. Just all these random $200 bills. This one was to renew my P.O. box, my business P.O. box, $190. It's like, oh, fucking hell. Every couple weeks, it's another surprise several $100 bill. And it's like, ah. So everybody that signs up for $5, $10, $15 a month on Patreon, it all matters. It all goes together and it all helps pay these bills. It helps me create these shows for you. Tip jar, Venmo, and Cash App at BrianEngelman. And on PayPal, the email address is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Yes, kisses for Nimbus. Tucker Carlson laugh. I already gave you a Tucker laugh earlier. You know I did. I gave you a Tucker and I gave you a Lewiston, Maine. Anyone else have any requests for impressions before we go? What am I, a clown? Do I amuse you? All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. Love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace out.
Guide to the Truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.